let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. My audio is good. Just want to make sure before we get started. Going to be a fun one. You know, it's been a minute. Missed you guys. Didn't stream all week. I was out of town, so didn't get the opportunity to live stream like I always want. I told you guys I was going to. But what I did do is I took some time and I nitpicked the shit out of some of Bro Sanchez's videos that he told me to watch, proving his flat Earth, and that's not at all what it's not at all what he did in those videos. I've decided I'm going to take this bit by bit and only answer a few at a time. But overall, I'm going to go through all the 3 videos that Bro Sanchez claims to have proven these things. He plays a lot of word salad, and I didn't like it too much, so I decided that that's what I'm going to start doing. With that said, also, you know, have the usual chit chat in the panels open. Doesn't matter. Realistically, all I'm doing now is kind of just gonna systematically go through why I came to under the impression that his information is faulty. It's not based on anything that is provable, factual. Again, I mean, you can make claims all you want, and this goes to everybody. You can make all the claims you want and have all the beliefs you want, but what it really comes down to is truth. What I tell you guys may be my truth, and somebody may go out there and find out that what I said wasn't true. That's fine. I'll switch what I said. Why? Because I was wrong. I'm real quick. Why? Because I'm not here to prove someone wrong. I'm here to understand everything. So, you know, when I say something and if I come across wrong, or I misunderstood myself and I say it wrong, give you guys wrong information, someone corrects me, I am very quick to correct that. Why? Because again, I'm here to learn. You guys obviously put a lot into the information that I know, as well as, you know, vice versa. And as far as I'm concerned, we should all be fact checking the crap out of everybody who makes a claim, even ourselves. You think you know something? Why don't you go back and look at it? Because it may be different. It may be worded differently, or you may have said it differently than it was worded, or you may have a different understanding than what it's really supposed to be taken from it. For those of you who don't believe me, just recently I was cold-heartedly wrong about, you know, the rotation and the acceleration of Earth's rotation and its vectors and all that. So why? Because I didn't understand that it does change direction, and there is a measurable amount of acceleration, though it is so minuscule that we don't feel it. That is the correct explanation for why we don't feel the Earth's rotation and how the Earth's rotation works. I don't feel less of a person because of it. Why? Because now I know the correct answer. I know the correct situation happening. And, you know, now I can actually go out and confidently say how the Earth's rotation is perceived, how it is explained. I can confidently say these things now because, one, I thought I knew, I was corrected, and I didn't take it as a personal thing. I took it as oh shit, now I get to learn some more and understand what I'm trying to explain to people, or trying to understand myself. So, you know what that said? It made it actually that much easier going at when I was looking through these clips. I only got like 2 or 3 that I'm going to show you guys, and we'll talk about, and then I'll open the panels up. But instead of going at it with, I'm here to prove Bro Sanchez is wrong, what I instantly started to do when I looked through his uploads and found some information that I felt was faulty. Yeah, I go through that rabbit hole where I'm trying to figure these things out myself. And as far as I'm concerned, that's as good as it gets. So I have zero problem admitting when I'm wrong. I have a zero problem admitting when I have a little bit of an understanding of it, a good understanding of it, or zero understanding at all. I think everyone needs to make sure that when they're weighing the truth to themselves, they have to understand that if your narrative doesn't change, you went wrong somewhere. Why do I say that? Because not everyone is a genius. Not everyone knows everything. I've never met one person that knew everything. If you guys have, please bring them this way. I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions for them. But the reality of it is we're all wrong at some point. We're all wrong in our analysis on what we observe, the evidence, the facts that we perceive. We all interpret things differently. But the truth doesn't change. The truth always is the truth. Now, science changes. We figure things out. That doesn't mean what we knew before wasn't the truth. We just didn't know the full truth. And now we're compiling more truth. And that's what science does. Again, there's a whole team of other scientists out there wanting to make sure those other scientists that figured something out are wrong. Why? So they can be right. So this whole all science, all scientists are lying isn't possible. I'm going to go ahead and say I can guarantee you it's impossible. As a matter of fact, I can be so sure of it. I'll put $100 to it. Now, what I'm putting $100 to is that all science is lying. All science is trying to deceive us. Because not all philosophers say it. Shit, I know some Globers that even say stuff like that. But the reality of it is, you just don't understand the science. It intimidates you maybe, therefore they're lying. But again, there's too many scientists out there trying to get to that top, trying to get that Nobel Prize, and they'll step on anybody to get there. That's the truth. But there's also another thing. If a scientist is trying to get that Nobel Prize, and he comes out with a theory, let's say this force, this acceleration that we can't figure out, but we're going to figure this out, damn it. He comes up with a theory of gravity. Now, if this theory of gravity was so unreal, such a lie that it was impossible to be construed with a bunch of facts that don't even exist, a scientist would jump all over that opportunity, discredit the other scientists. Why? Again, each scientist wants that Nobel Prize. They want that award. They want the acknowledgement that everybody knows they figured it out, or that team figured it out. But again, there is a reality to this. If all science is lying, if all science is there to deceive us, then please explain to me how, one, flat earth, two, yourself, comes to the conclusion that science is wrong, and how where we live actually works. Because I don't think there's anybody here who from birth knew it all, or knew how everything worked, or whatever. Everybody here had to figure it out. Everybody here had to come to their own conclusion before they decided they were a flat earther, or they were a glober, or they didn't care. Because if you're hearing me right now, you've thought about one of those three things, you've decided one of those three things, and unfortunately, your narrative has been set forth. Or has it? Because it's not wrong to question everything. Matter of fact, I applaud anybody who questions everything. Why? Because if you're questioning everything and you are truly questioning it, then you're looking for those answers. You want answers. How do you look for truth? How do you look for these answers? By denying. By just outright throwing it out the door. Like it didn't, like science doesn't even exist. Because real truth takes time. Real truth takes effort. You got to understand what you're trying to figure out. You have to want to figure it out. And the hardest part of it all, you have to leave your bias behind. You have to leave a mentor's bias behind. It's probably one of the hardest things I can think of that you have to do. Think about it. Every belief, everything you thought you knew, everything you think you know, period, is questionable. It is. It's just outright questionable. I don't care. The top tier scientists, everything they put out, they still question. Other scientists still question. We should still question. But if you're questioning things, you're not answering things. Because people who know the answers, know the truth, period, have proven it, shown the facts, evidence, the whole nine, they don't strive to tell people they're wrong. They strive to help people understand. And people who don't understand strive to listen. And it could be for a selfish reason. You can strive to listen so that you can be smarter than that guy. So you can be smarter than that community. You can be smarter than anyone you decide. But you have to know what they know first. Then you have to come up with your own idea of how things work. But you have to be honest with yourself, because when you weigh your observations to the truth scale, at what point are you deciding, that can pass, whether it's true or not? Because that's that narrative that you're not willing to give up. If you ask me, there shouldn't be any flat earthers. There shouldn't be any globers. There shouldn't be undecided. There should be questioners, truth seekers. I haven't lived long enough. I haven't talked to one person here who's lived long enough to know everything. So we should all be questioning. And with that said, that's the wonderful rant of the day. Been waiting for that one for about a week now, so I do appreciate you guys listening to it. Let's go ahead and put that chat out. What's up, Chris? What's up, Fletcher? What's up, Sasha? What's up, Charlie? Alan? And I think that's about it for right now that I can see. Kurt, Huey P, and Sean, how you guys doing? So let me go ahead and get that link out there for you guys. Again, anybody that jumps on, if you haven't been on and this will be your first time, I have one rule and one rule only, and that is respect. I don't care how you feel about it. The rule is respect is already here. You already have respect for the person you're going to be talking against or with. Now, that respect can be lost, but you have to have respect stepping on the panel first. Any of that earned shit don't make sense to me. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is this bro Sanchez, these claims that he had made that specifically right now about the sun and the moon being out during the day. And one of the things that really caught a chord to me was this image that he played on his upload for this. And it looks something like this. Go ahead and get that up there for you guys. There we go. So this is it right here. We'll go ahead and get this into the link, the chat. All right, so this is it right here. This is the issue that I have. This is the main issue that I have, because this proves his claim, and it also proves his lack of truth and willing to change the narrative. Because questioning a sun and a moon in the same sky during the day is pointless, one, because it's been explained. Now, here's the issue I have. And it clearly states, for you to observe a full moon during the day, the sun, yeah, I can hear you guys. Hang on one second. My apology, guys. Yeah, I had myself muted on the Hangouts. Let me go ahead and get you guys going here. All right, so now everyone can hear you. But let me finish this very last part. To see a full moon during the day, the sun and the moon would need to be 180 degrees from each other. From your perspective, I want to make that clear. Perspective is going to be like the word of the day when it comes to this, because when I do show you, I'm going to wait a little bit, but I'll show you guys this upload in a little bit, and you'll see exactly how it doesn't make sense to lie about your uploads or your narrative. And I want you guys to remember this, because this is what he put when he decides to say he didn't claim something. It says, the footage shows the sun and the moon both in the sky with the sun directly across from the moon. Yet the moon is not full. We were taught the sun's angle of the moon creates the phases, yet the moon is not full even though the sun is directly in front of it. Again, perspective. He doesn't get it. And I'll get into that a little bit later. Fletcher, Chris, how you guys doing?
Pretty good. Good. What's up, man?
Not much, just relaxing. It's been a minute, man. I was on a nice little trip, and I'm back.
Where'd you go?
Texas.
Where?
San Antonio.
Where do you live? Where are you from?
San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in Dallas.
Oh, okay. Shit. Then you weren't that wasn't that far at all, really. Or
yeah.
No. I'm still learning Texas. Everything seems so far away.
Yeah. What did you do in San Antonio? Like, go to the
just visiting friends.
Oh, visiting friends. Okay.
Yeah. It was, just a little bit of fun, a little time off. Didn't know right away I was going, so it kind of was unexpected, but things happen. Besides, like I said, it gave me a lot of time to research some stuff I wanted to and look into things. Hopefully it gave you some time to step up that atmosphere game.
Well, since you mentioned it, and by the way, I only have a few minutes. I'm actually driving to get the wife and kids dinner, but speaking of atmosphere and all that, there's a YouTube guy named Life is Short, and he put together he did about a 2.5 hour presentation on Jaren's channel, and so he's got all these documents and things that he put together that he did on Jaren, and it's basically, it talks about something called Rayleigh criteria, and he uses mathematics and formulas to how do you say, like, out how much is missing based on distance, based on refraction and perspective. And it's actually really cool. And he, according to him, and I really need to listen to it again and understand exactly how the mathematics works or this formula works. But he says all these images of, things like buildings that show to be half cut off, and Jose's blue and white, what is it? Not tower, but lighthouse that shows to be cut off halfway. He says that it's all refraction, it's all atmosphere, and these numbers that he's calculating according to this I believe it's the Rayleigh criteria. I could be wrong,
You-
but he said once you put the numbers in, it actually all matches up to that too. So it's really fascinating. And like I said, I need to do more research on it, but
Yeah. So I don't know the complete exact explanation for it, but let me see. Is that okay? So but the Riley criteria is the way it was explained is the distance the furthest your eyes would possibly be able to see. Now, the reason I remember this is because when Dr. Bob was here, this is what we were going over when we decided to basically try to prove a flat Earth. And basically, we came to the conclusion that if the using the Riley criteria, if it were flat, we should be able to see a 100-foot tall building at 180 miles. If I'm not 100% sure on my numbers, so do not quote them as fact, but I do know the Riley criteria does have everything to do with the distance that we would be able to see on almost a perfect day.
100? Did you say 100-foot building or 100 stories?
I believe it was 100 foot, maybe 100
No.
meters. Like I said, my numbers are off. I don't have the notes.
Not at 180. No, 180 miles. That seems way off.
Well, like I said, my numbers are off. I know my numbers are off. I don't have the notes in front of me. I only remember that the Riley criteria did have to do with the distance that our eyes would allow us to see.
Right. And then if you have something better like a camera, you should see a little bit farther. But the point is, so another interesting thing I sort of found out.
Well, even then, I don't know if it's with a camera. If you see further, don't you just magnify what's in your peripheral?
Well, there might be some magnification involved, but there's the lens, right? So there's a lens in an eye and a lens in the camera, and the lens in the camera can extend right farther than your eye can extend. Yeah. Your eye is fixed, but the camera not. It's like a telescope, right? It's why a telescope can see farther than your eye because it's got magnification and extensions in it or whatever.
But mirrors. But that's the thing. I don't think it can see further. Or no, it can see further. Okay, so everything that it would see is already there. It doesn't bring it into view. It's there. You just don't see it with your naked eye.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I mean, there are things that a camera can see that you can't see with your naked eye. That's how only way I can describe it. I mean, it might take like an extreme camera, like a P900 or P1000, but it is possible to see stuff with the camera that you can't see. So one other thing, and then I'm probably gonna have to jump off is, hang
on 1 second. So the Riley criteria relates to how well we can resolve detail with distant objects. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Metal. Appreciate that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just going to say, and again, I might be wrong on that. I think I know he's using Rayleigh, but I'm not sure if that was the only thing he was using. But it's a combination of Rayleigh, a combination of refraction and perspective, I believe. I can send you the video later if you're interested. But
yeah.
So the other thing I learned is, and it makes sense, is that so there's a couple things that I always call out to people like Rumpus or Dr. Bob or whoever who say, or Timmy Osmond who say, oh, well, my picture shows half the building missing. Why? If it's not curved. So there's a couple things at play. One is perspective. And then you have perspective and angle. Okay, those are kind of, to me, going hand in hand. But then you have what I call atmospheric. So you have miraging, whether it's superior or inferior, right? You have miraging. You have magnification, and you have compression. Okay, so the interesting thing about those atmospheric effects, they're all caused. Sorry, Sasha or someone's sounds like they're breathing.
Thinking maybe, yeah. Okay, thank you, Sasha.
All of those effects are caused by refraction, but the thing is that one thing, refraction, can show different effects, and that's
wait. Miraging, and again, anybody in the chat would like to correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe I'm right on this. Refraction, miraging, those are all atmospheric, or what do you call it? Damn, the word just was right there on tip of my tongue. Basically, they're all different different observations for different criteria. So
refraction causes
refraction,
mirage.
but refraction, miraging, super mirages, like all those things factor in from warm air, cold air, time of day, where the light is. It's not
but it's
of
all
refraction.
Say that again. Say that last part.
I don't think it's because of refraction. So
No,
refraction
it
doesn't
is
cause mirages.
Yeah, refraction does cause mirages. That's exactly the thing. So, I hear what you're saying, and you're sort of saying, well, refraction is due to the atmosphere. Well, that's right. But if there was no atmosphere, there would be no refraction. But see, all refraction is light through a medium. So that could be light through air, it could be light through water, it could be light through a prism, right? That's all refraction is. But you're right, you have to have atmosphere at play when you're talking about, say, looking at a boat in the distance or a building. That's true. But that light refracting causes miraging, it causes compression, and it causes magnification. That same phenomenon has multiple cause. That one cause has multiple effects.
So it says refraction.
Okay, Chris. Chris. I understand what you're saying, and that would be true if that happened every single time. But there are days where we have observations where miraging or atmospheric refraction is not an issue. So in those cases, when those are not an issue, and you see those objects obscured by something, what would be the reason for that? If refraction and miraging not the issue?
Right. So the first thing you're saying is you're setting up a straw man. So there's never a case where there isn't some refraction happening. Just because you don't see a mirror line or a mirage doesn't mean there isn't refraction. Again, all refraction is light through a medium. So if you see something far away and it's through the atmosphere, there absolutely is refraction.
Wait, how much refraction would happen on a dry day?
Well, maybe less than if it's on a humid day, but there's still refraction. And like you said, it is variable based on temperature, which typically is why it's a little bit worse over water.
So if it's from a very dry day, the atmosphere is dry, low moisture, and a day where there's high moisture, are the observations of refraction going to be the same?
No, they won't be the same, but there will be refraction in both scenarios, is my point. So, Tim Osmond's got a picture of a building that appears to be cut in half from 26 miles away. Can you imagine how far that is, and B, how much atmosphere there is between him and those buildings? And for him to say, well, it's a clear day. He's like five towns away, 26 miles.
Here's the thing.
5 towns.
But here's the thing.
Who knows what the weather is 5 towns away, 26 miles away? It's ridiculous.
The reason for his observation, and the reason it's not ridiculous, is because of where he lives. Matter of fact, he lives in a place where he can say this because the atmosphere is far less dense than it is here, sea level, so to speak.
Well, it might be less dense, but it's still there. It's still going to cause some sort of effect.
It's going to cause a very large difference in the effect because of the altitude.
It might be small. I don't know. I haven't seen any numbers on it. I don't know what the difference in density, air density is where he is versus.
I could tell you that picture, the furthest picture ever taken, is not at sea level. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, but what does it have to do with what we're talking about?
Everything, because Tim's observation was right, and the reason it was more effective than, say, a sea level one is because there's less atmosphere to interact or to affect the observation.
So you have, and I'll agree with you, right? So you have the air density is less, but you have 26 miles of that air density, whatever it is, to go through. That's the thing. I mean, just imagine how far 26 miles is. That's like, so from Dallas to where I live is 22 miles, and there's, I want to say 3 or 4 towns between Dallas and where I live. So 4 towns later, you're saying, oh, the weather's the exact same, humidity is the same, the conditions are the same. No way. It's so variable between 26 miles.
No, 26 miles. Okay, well, Texas is a place of its own. But 26 miles, if you're able to have that observation, you can look at the weather forecast, and you can have a great idea of the weather in that town that you're observing. Even more than that, again, because of where he lives, it's not so much what the weather is like, because it's not the weather that is the main factor in in observations we're talking about. It's the atmosphere. Because there's less atmosphere and we don't see any visible snow, we don't see visible rain, we don't see clouds, in the middle of the observation and stuff like that. So there are things that you can't just add situations to disprove what Tim's showing, because
what am I adding? I'm not adding anything.
You're adding the weather in the town that he observed compared to where he was at. The weather isn't the issue; it's the atmosphere.
Weather is part of the atmosphere.
Okay, well, it's either raining, cloudy, or sunny.
No. It's humidity. It's barometric pressure. Right. It's so many things that you guys just leaving out or not.
Because of where he lives, or where the observation was taken. I'm sorry.
So he lives in that place 26. He lives where he lives and 26 miles away. Is that what you're saying?
No, but the elevation is the same.
Okay, so what? The weather's not the same.
Yes, it is. Okay, so
it can't.
Right now I'm guesstimated 15 miles from the beach. Are you telling me that the beach has a completely different weather system than where I'm at 15 miles away from it? Because 26 miles is not very far.
26 miles is really far away. We're talking about humidity. You're talking about.
See, that's the thing.
You could have a couple degrees variation even in air temperature. Okay, that's a lot.
But
couple of degrees.
With the elevation, the atmosphere is less thin. It's not as thin. It's very thin.
Right.
There's less things to affect that observation. And when I said adding, you are adding, because I've seen those observations, and we weren't looking through rain. We weren't looking through fog. We weren't looking through a pollution haze. We were literally.
Well, that
couldn't you just do the observation on a day where the weather radar shows that between where the observer is and where he's observing, the weather is completely the same? Because we have all that data.
That's why you would do it.
What's stopping us from doing it on a day like that?
Well, that's why you would do the observation on numerous days. Because what if you had started on a cloudy day? Well, it's going to be different on a sunny day. It's going to be different on a rainy day. It's going to be different on a morning where it's hazy or foggy. But the thing is when you're saying, especially because you're talking refraction, and refraction has all these things to do with the barometric pressure, like you were saying. When you say it has something to do with the weather. Now, again, that 26 miles, can you show me the anomaly that would give you the assumption that weather was different there?
Well, yeah, the building cut in half.
Okay, so what weather effect makes things cut in half?
Refraction.
Okay, so what would have caused refraction in there?
Well, again, it's not there, and it's not where he is. It's between him and there. That is the effect you're observing. It's 26 miles of refraction.
Can I ask a question?
Lowered angle and all those things, perspective and all that.
Because as far as I'm aware, refraction plays out on the globe Earth by bringing things that were out of sight into sight. But on a flat Earth, why would it hide something? I've never heard of refraction hiding part of an object.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. When in every explanation of refraction, it's the light bending up because of the temperature variance, and that's why we see things that we don't believe we should see in this right now as we're talking, and because of that. That's another reason to know that it's a globe. That's why I was saying before, when we were talking about this last time, that even if we're looking at refraction still works its way up. Regardless, that boat or whatever we're observing, at some point, with more and more distance, refraction or not, it's going to disappear. It's not going to mirror all the way up and stay a mirror and be all odd, it's going to disappear. On a flat Earth, you should be able to bring that back into your vision.
Well, also, on a flat Earth, refraction wouldn't hide half of a building.
Yeah, I don't get how that.
I mean,
it would. If anything, it would mirror some of the building we can't see. We would actually see more. Right?
Yeah.
We would appear to see more.
You'd see more than perspective would allow, I guess. You'd see more of the building than perspective accounts for if you're saying that there's refraction on a flat Earth.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I was ordering my chicken fillet. So
yeah, no worries. But yeah, what we were saying is that refraction, brings everything up. Not in.
Can I describe it?
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to say, on a globe Earth, refraction always brings objects into view. So on a flat Earth, if we're taking into account that if we're saying yes, there's refraction on a clear, dry day, then how come it would hide half a building? Because shouldn't refraction bring more of that building into view, even if perspective? It should bring what perspective says is hidden into view if there's refraction.
So it
shouldn't remove.
Yeah. So let me answer.
Part of a building.
You've already been indoctrinated to believe that all refraction.
Okay. Stop. Okay. If that's the case,
nobody's taught me. Nobody's taught me anything about refraction.
Okay, Chris. If that is the case, show us where refraction says different. That it does differently, reacts differently.
I'm trying. I can explain it in 10 seconds.
Well, no, I would like to know your source, because if you just figured it out, then we know that obviously, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can give you the exact answer and explain.
Well, I'm confused, Sean. I didn't say anything. You cut me off after about 3 seconds.
I thought
can I add to that? Because refraction.
Add to what? I didn't say anything.
Refraction doesn't only bring stuff into view, so it doesn't hide things, but refraction also bends the light. So on a flat Earth, refraction would bend the light, so it wouldn't really have any effect in hiding anything.
Okay, you got us. I know. Okay, you got
also
us.
hang on.
I'm not indoctrinated.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me or what? I keep getting cut off after about 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start. First of all, refraction does not simply mean if you're on a ball that it lifts stuff up over the ball. That's what globers have to say to say that, we're seeing stuff 30, 40 miles away. It's because of refraction.
Chris, first of all, hang on. We didn't say that. Again,
no, he did. Sanchez said that.
No, he did not. He said that refraction is light bending up.
That's not what refraction is.
Are you sure? Because
that's not all refraction.
Okay, then explain it to me. Go ahead.
Okay, do you know what an inferior mirage is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's actually the same thing we're describing. That's why you see.
It's light bending down, right?
No,
it's a downward refraction.
It's not a refraction. That's a Give me a second. It's not refraction. It's fuck.
No, it's
on the tip of my tongue. Hang on. It's not. Hang on.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Chris. I'll go ahead and I'll pull it up because I know it's not. I'll personally show you that it's not. And I know it's not because when we did this last time, the one thing I realized right away is that refraction is up and infraction is down. That's what you're talking about.
There's no such thing as infraction.
Okay, and I will show you. Go ahead and laugh it up, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you right now.
Refraction it can do multiple things. That's what I said earlier. It can cause superior mirage, which is a mirage above the object, and it can cause inferior, which is a mirage below. I gotta go on mute for a second.
Okay, but
go ahead, Sasha. If you want to go ahead and say something.
No. What I want to say is something off topic, but I'm gonna stick to the topic for now. One thing is, let's not laugh things off until, like, if Sean says he's going to go show us something that he knows he's seen and he can pull it up, let's not laugh it off and say it doesn't exist. Then that's not being the questioner that Sean was talking about. That's being a denier.
Okay, so Kurt says
I'm still waiting for the
standard refraction bends light down, objects appear higher. Okay, so that's standard refraction.
What's your source for that? What's the source for
Kurt just told me that in the chat.
Okay, well, he's not a source.
You know,
no,
if you look at any website,
wait. Why
will say
that.
Chris, one thing.
Why isn't he a source?
Chris, we asked you for your source for your definition. You haven't given it to us.
Well, Sean, why didn't you just Google it, man? Why did you go to Kurt? Why did you go to Discord?
I am Googling it. I'm actually Googling it as we speak.
I'm on my phone in my car, but you can just Google it and find any source that will show what I said to be true.
We can also find any source that will show what we said.
I'm right now. I'm on hyperphysics, and I'm looking it up. But I also looked in the chat, and Kurt explained it. What makes you think he can't explain it? Because you do understand that the person you just said is a dumbass actually is defending what you just said. No,
he's not. Okay, he just said standard refraction bends light up.
No, it says standard refraction bends light down is what he just said.
Right. Bends light down, causing things to pop up or whatever.
And that's not true?
I'm saying, even if that is true, refraction does more than one thing.
I'm trying to figure out why he can't be my source.
Because he got that from Metabunk. He's getting that from Metabunk.
No, actually, he said he got it from Wiki. And what does it matter? Okay, can you give us your source so we know where you're looking to get this information?
Just Google it. Just anywhere. Just Google it.
Yeah, but,
Google. Here, I'll tell you what. Google cause of inferior mirage. Do that.
So I'm still waiting for the answer to the question: why would refraction hide something on a flat Earth?
Well, because it's causing an optical effect. It's blocking the object.
How is the light bending to block the object?
What do you mean?
Because I've seen, because light can bend to show an object, but I've never seen light bend to hide something.
You made that claim. Where do you see light bending an object to show it?
Light bends and shows objects. That's standard refraction. It bends down.
But where does that happen?
What do you mean where?
You just said that
on a globe Earth. On a globe Earth.
Where? What's your example of that even happening? That's a claim that I've never seen proof of, actually.
Looking over water, when a ship disappears, when a ship that's over the horizon on a globe Earth, and you can still see the top of it, or that you can still see the bottom of it after it's gone over the horizon, that's light bending to show that it's...
still see the bottom of it over the horizon?
Yeah, that's the light is bending downward and showing the object.
Okay, what if it's not? What if the object is just there and you just see it?
Well, I'm giving you I don't know what you're trying to do here, because I'm asking you. I asked you, what is your example for refraction hiding something? And you know perfectly well that refraction bring things into view.
Wrong. A mirage on a desert highway, but that you can't see the bottom of the car. That's how.
And why is that happening, Chris?
Because of the temperature variation.
And which way is the light being bent?
I don't know what ways the light being bent. I don't care. It's blocking the bottom.
Wait. Why don't you care? Because that has everything to do with it.
Is it blocking and hiding the bottom of the car or not?
It literally says, yes, it is blocking the bottom of the car.
Okay, so that answers Sasha's question.
Wait. Why? Chris, you can't take half of that to make yourself right, because you also have to read out, you have to explain the rest of it, right? So again, it says light from the bright sky is refracted upwards from the hot surface. It says viewers see inferior mirages from the bright sky and the vehicle ahead. The light from the vehicle is refracted upward from the hot surface.
Why don't we just do all these experiments at nighttime?
Well, it doesn't make a difference because that same what he's trying to explain now as his proof for it doesn't work either, because on a cold day that doesn't happen.
That's not true. Hey, I just got home. I got to go. I'll try and jump on the chat now.
Okay, no problem. But I'm going to say, though, it is true. Because, again, the reason for mirages... Look, I'll read this whole thing. It says, mirages are produced by an atmospheric refraction and are mainly seen in the settings where there are large variations in the air temperature, such as a desert over the cold bodies of water, or deserts, or over cold bodies of water. The refraction, which occurs near the Earth's surface, is mainly due to temperature gradients where the light rays will be bent towards the cooler side of the given interface. Okay, so...
But the way it was or Chris was trying to explain it, wouldn't this only happen during the day because it requires the light from the sun?
I want to say yes, but I couldn't see why a hot night wouldn't do the same to headlights. Maybe.
No, there are such things as nighttime mirages.
Okay, but like full on refraction can only happen during the day, right?
You would have to define full
like
on.
like a boat appearing over the horizon where it shouldn't be.
I can tell you right now, this whole refraction is his whole idea that refraction is the answer is already wrong in the fact that our observation, when we can go out 100 days and make those observations every single day, and refraction will never be the answer. It may be a factor on one day, it may not be a factor on this day, but the realization is it's so inconsistent that it's not proof of anything. It doesn't take away from anything. It literally actually is a strong point for the globe, because again, it's not atmosphere that gives us the observation that things are going over this curve. And I know that's not how you're supposed to say it. I know people, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, we're obviously not going to get any farther on this topic, so could we?
Well, that's the thing. We can, because hang on, because here's the reality of it. Again, Tim's observations, you can add all the weather you want in a town 26 miles away, but in Tim's presentation, it is very clear to see that 26 miles away, the weather isn't severe, it's not bad, it's not raining, it's not hazy, it's not cloudy, it's not whatever you would want to add to deny what Tim's trying to show. The realization is nothing takes away half a building like that. Like, it doesn't work that way. I haven't seen anything do that. So if there is, I just haven't seen it, and it's not being explained correctly maybe, but I can tell you right now, the reason Tim did that observation there was because of the atmosphere, the clarity, and the less atmospheric conditions that could affect the observation.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it all up.
And that's the realization of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about anything. I just wanted to get that out.
Yeah. So I wanted to address the black hole that we recently took a picture of.
All right. But I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to get, that will get less distance with flat Earth than anything. But I do want to talk about it, so go ahead.
Yeah. So So scientists, they looked for this thing. They knew where it would be. They had an idea of where it would be, and they, based off of observing things surrounding it, and they predicted what it would look like based off of their understanding of gravity.
I think the way you just explained it may not be exactly how it was found or photographed, but I get what you're saying. Try to be a little bit more detailed, because I think you're skipping over how it works. It sounds too simple. It sounds too simplistic on how it was taken. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand exactly how you. I didn't quite understand the way you phrased it. Say that one more time.
Sorry. I didn't have a chance to finish. So basically, they predicted what it would look like. They predicted how it would look, and they were correct. And it also, so it kind of proves the theory of general relativity, and they knew exactly what would be there, and they found it. And that just is another win for the globe, because it shows that what they predicted is there.
Now, I get what you're saying, but I'm just going to let you know that will not work against the flat earther.
But yeah, I guess they could say it's just a CGI composite.
Well, to be fair, nothing would really work
true.
If they're.
But that's true. But or a better way for me to explain it is because I've been watching a lot of uploads about the black hole and everything, and from what I've gotten and from what you said it like you were talking to somebody who understands it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I got maybe half of what you said and understood it, but the other half, I sit here going, but and that's fine. I mean, anyone should go look it up. I kind of question a lot of the research that will be done by flat earth, but I'm only saying that if you don't want to give them leverage in an argument, you kind of have to detail the details. So, for instance, I would say, and through their endless observations of space, we what is it? They use gravitational lensing or some shit to see these things. What is it? What's it called?
No, for what things?
So they don't see a black hole. They see the whole.
No. So
yes, that's what I'm talking about.
They used 8 radio So basically, this thing's so far away that we need a telescope the size of Earth to see it. So they used 8 radio telescopes placed around the Earth, and then the rotation of the Earth, so that they could get almost every point. And yes, it's a composite image, but they took all that data from the telescopes, and then they had I think it was 8 teams of people working to take that data that they got from all 8 radio telescopes around the Earth, and so they had 8 teams of people all working separately, so they didn't communicate with each other, to make an image, so that way there wouldn't be any bias or so that each team could come up with their own image, and so that they could compare them to see if they match. And they did, and then this is what they came up with. And so it's not like this isn't a straight picture, it's radio telescopes, it's data, radio waves.
It's data interpreted to an image.
Yeah, to an image. But it's a real image in the sense that it's based off of real data. It's not just a artistic drawing of what we predict would happen. It's what we observed would happen.
And to better explain that part of it, imagine when we were kids. Some of us aren't kids anymore. And you used to get those coloring books. The coloring books had numbers in them, 1 through 15, and each number represented a color. That is how they come up with these images, through data. just so everyone has an idea of how numbers become an image. It's a computer software that takes the data and makes it visual. The same way they can take.
That's what cameras do too. Cameras, they take a bunch of numbers, and then that's how pictures are transferred. That's how they're stored. It's just a bunch of numbers that are transferred into an image.
Exactly. So, and this is one of the things I had to figure out right away when I was questioning what the hell's going on, because I've taken these composites to connect a topo map. Anyone who doesn't know what a topo map is, it's the elevation of a known area being surveyed. Well, if I survey, let's say a 2 mile squared area, which isn't very big, I know. But if I do that one day, and then the next day I do another 2 mile square, and so on and so on, I will put all my surveys from each day into the system and put them together. That's a composite. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, let's clarify that, because a lot of people say that the globe Earth is, there's pictures from NASA, they're composites. That I really hate, because a composite means that they took 2 different pictures, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, even 8 in this case. Actually, they took more because they were going around the Earth to get all the different points. But it's just combining. Those pictures are of one spot on the picture. They're not laid on top of each other. They're just placed next to each other. So it's like a puzzle, and each time you take a picture, you're taking a picture of one puzzle piece, and then you're combining all those pictures to form the whole puzzle. That puzzle piece isn't any less legitimate than the whole puzzle.
The best way to explain that part is what the camera lens shows, the viewfinder shows, doesn't show all of Earth. So to get all of Earth, you have to take shots in the spots where it can get different areas.
Or you can just go far away like they did on the Apollo missions.
Well, that's the problem, because the ISS can't do that.
The ISS is in low Earth orbit. It can't see the whole Earth.
There's a lot of satellites that do take imagery that can't do that, and that's where the composites come from. But things like Himawari, once those came out, we realized those are wonderful observations of Earth. Now, a lot of people get upset because of all the little things they see on there, but the realization is that it doesn't. Hang on 1 second.
That's why when you look at a weather balloon picture or a picture from a rocket, or like I watch rocket launches and I screenshot.
Do me a favor, just keep going, okay?
Okay.
All right, my apologies about that, guys. Yeah, it's. I think it's a little bit too much to. Well, I guess now it's fine because we're just having a conversation. But I would say in a conversation, I wouldn't use the black hole thing as an argument because it's not. It's
well, yeah.
Even because put it this way, anyone who doesn't doubt astronomy and all that stuff isn't going to have a good understanding or real good understanding of that situation.
Well, I just want to, I just brought it up because it proves for scientists that what they've been thinking and modeling gravity all this time in terms of gravity is what it actually is. So it proves for the scientists. So the scientists now have proved it.
Okay, but I'll play devil's advocate on this one. The problem with that is what about, say, our galaxy?
That's the next step. We need to get those radio telescopes up there on the moon.
But see, that's the thing. That black hole is way further out than the edge of our galaxy, and gravity kind of gravity takes a sidestep and goes trips a little bit on the galaxy.
Well, we have a picture of the black hole in our galaxy too. They also aimed it at our black hole, and it shows what they predicted as well.
Well, I don't think they have an image the same, do they?
Yeah, they do. They took two. They aimed it at that black hole that's orbiting the internet, and they aimed it at the Milky Way's black hole. There's two images.
So wait, did they come out with one or two images of the black hole?
They have two images. They have one of the faraway galaxy and one of our galaxy, and they look different, but that's because of distance. And they both show what they predicted based on the distance that they are.
Okay, so maybe I just have a misunderstanding of it. So what was the purpose of the observation?
So we've never seen a black hole before. It's only been artistic renditions.
The best we've seen is maybe the event horizon, correct? Or am I wrong?
Well, no, that's what these show. Okay. These show the event horizon. Okay. You can't actually see the black hole because it's absence of light. But we now can see the event horizon. And it's the reason they did this first, probably the main reason that this is important is this picture was either going to prove Einstein's theory of general relativity.
How?
Or quantum mechanics.
How? I don't understand.
So I don't fully understand. I can't fully tell you. I'm not a astrophysicist. but
okay.
But
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but this is what their models predicted based off of gravity, and so quantum mechanics doesn't quite work with this. So the main reason was to see, is it quantum gravity? Is it Einstein's theory of general relativity? Is it something that we have? Have we been wrong all this time?
See, I don't know. I'm confused by what you're generalizing.
So basically, so Einstein's general theory of general relativity basically it shows that gravity affects light's motion, and so the image of the black hole basically proves that in a nutshell.
Okay, I see.
So yeah, it's how the black hole would look based off of Einstein's theory, how the black hole would look based off of quantum gravity, and if it doesn't match either of those, then either we didn't get enough data or we're completely wrong in how we've modeled gravity. But they found that it shows Einstein's theory, so it proves Einstein's theory. Not fully, but it's like one step closer. So we still could develop another branch to wrap around that. But it shows that quantum mechanics isn't completely correct. Einstein's theory right now is the best we've got.
I'm so confused. You keep confusing shit out of me.
So Einstein developed theory of relativity, but there were some things that were still question marks. And then another researcher, what the heck is his name? I think it's like Schwarzschild, something like that. So he came and actually figured out the solution to some of Einstein's field equations. And basically what that does is that describes the gravitational field of a point mass and spherical mass. And so there's obviously like a lot of, quantum mumbo jumbo that I'm not going to get into, but basically the point is what I was saying earlier. The theory of relativity, a lot of it describes how gravity influences how light, what light does in gravitational fields.
Okay, yeah, now I'm sorry.
And so basically, what Sasha's saying is that our view of that black hole confirms what Einstein predicted and what we should expect that relationship to be. And so when we viewed the black hole, it said, "Oh, look, it's doing exactly what we expected to do. Therefore, Einstein's theory of relativity is proven."
Okay, I see. I get it now.
And sorry, what I was going to say just blanked my mind. Okay. Think. I completely forgot what I was going to say.
I'm not an astrophysicist myself, but I've looked into it a little bit once they've discovered it, and that's from what I'm reading, that's what I understand about it.
Oh yeah. Okay. I remember what I was going to say now. So flat earthers would say that's just one observation, though. How does that prove it? But no, we have two observations. So we have that black hole and we have our black hole, and both of them behave exactly as we predicted. And so they were also looking, because if it was just the slightest bit off, that could mean our understanding of gravity is completely off. But it was spot on. So it wasn't just close to what we predicted, it was spot on. Because if it was close but not exactly, then gravity as we know it would have been thrown out the window. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's starting to make sense now. I think it's still maybe a little bit advanced for myself, but I get what you're saying now. So at least I'm in the conversation. Hey, Seek and Find, man, if you want to jump on the panel, more than welcome to. I mean, regardless, you know how I roll people. I'll cut it soon. I still got some stuff to present.
Yeah. But in my opinion, it's just really cool that we have these observations now, because now we can say for definite sure gravity exists. The gravity as we know it is what behaves as we predict it does.
See, that's the problem I have, and this is me now, because again, it doesn't explain things that we observe at the edge of our galaxy.
So I'm not sure. I haven't read up on what you're talking about. So
basically, what is observed is the center of our galaxy and the edge of our galaxy has the rotational speed is the same, which doesn't correlate. Where we would assume that stars would be flung into the universe. Damn, I keep hitting my mic. Sorry, guys. Where we would assume that stars would be flung into the universe, we actually see stars staying on the outer edges of our galaxy, which would depict something the only explanation for what we observe on the edge of our galaxy isn't explainable, because then we would have to be able to explain for a certain amount of mass that we don't see, which is the whole dark matter.
So yeah. So there, I think you're confusing dark energy, because dark energy is actually what is why stars would fling away. Because regular gravity, says that everything should collide together. Energy.
Say it one more time.
So regular gravity is what brings things together. Dark energy is what causes the universe to expand, what pushes them away. That we don't understand yet. That, yes, there's a long way to go before we understand that. But the principle of gravity is proven.
No, that's the thing. It's not, because the principle of gravity states that that which says so. With the principles of gravity,
no, because there's other forces at play. There's not just gravity at play.
That's the thing. There aren't other forces. That's the problem. They don't know what's at play, because with the way gravity is explained and observed through tests and observation, is not how it works at the edge of our galaxy. It does not. So put it this way. So say what we observe takes, and these are just bullshit numbers. These are not facts. It takes 100 blah 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 of a mass, 100 mass. So I'm just blurring shit out. But what we observe is only 50. They can't figure out where that other 50 came from to keep those stars from flinging out into space.
Yeah, that's the dark energy, dark matter stuff that they haven't. That they don't understand yet.
But see, that's the issue, because that's a spot where gravity isn't as it's explained or thought to work.
So that's why science isn't over. That's why these black holes aren't a one and done thing. We still need to continue to observing. So if in the whole conference call they said this isn't it, we're going to keep pushing, we still have a lot to find out.
Oh, of course, but to say that gravity is as it's explained, or I'm not sure.
Sorry. Sorry. Let me. I phrased it, and then Fletcher rephrased it for me. But what I was trying to say is, Einstein's theory is the best one we have now. Quantum mechanics doesn't hold up under these circumstances that we've observed. So right now, Einstein's theory of general relativity is the best that we have now.
Do they know enough about quantum to choose for that?
Nope.
Well, to have that state to say that.
Well, no. It's our understanding of quantum mechanics versus Einstein's theory of general relativity. So it's what we have so far. Quantum mechanics could eventually have a better explanation than Einstein's theory of general relativity. But right now, as it stands, with the evidence we have, Einstein's theory explains the best. There's still things we don't understand, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I get it now. It's like I said. It's again. I know we live on a globe, but I still got a lot of questions, and I'm a skeptic still. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. There are definitely things that I got questions for, and that don't make sense, and I definitely
the way technology's
so basically so basically in a nutshell, so dark matter is what, and scientists will admit this, dark matter is basically a bookmark to kind of basically say, we don't understand what this means, or what this does, or the properties is, but there's something there. So we're going to call it dark matter for right now. When they understand what it is, they'll take the dark matter tag off and call it what it is. Now, if it goes with what we already know about quantum mechanics and about Einstein's theory of relativity, great. If not, we need to figure out why and go from there. But for right now, they're just calling it dark matter.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking, and technology, I just realized technology is advancing so fast. In Sean's lifetime, they've gone from landing on the moon to looking at black holes. So I'm wondering if in my lifetime we'll eventually see understand what dark matter is.
The realization is,
Just because how fast it's.
I doubt it, because one thing they don't really state too often that I kind of get frustrated with is this isn't new. This isn't something that, like, in the 2000s they were like, yeah, well, all of a sudden this is an observation we have and we're trying to figure, like, they've known about this situation for a while now. They just, because it's just now.
Which situation?
Dark matter, the fact that things aren't as they, their observations say different, basically. But now it's, now it's more mainstream.
Black holes used to be, until this whole picture and evidence, black holes used to be something they didn't understand. Black holes were as mysterious as dark matter. They were this giant mass that they couldn't explain.
But I would,
in the middle of somewhere.
But here's the thing.
They predicted how it would work, though, and then they observed.
But see,
so
that's from what I've gotten from it. They don't observe dark energy, dark matter. They just observe the effects of this.
Effects of it.
Of this
so
phenomenon.
That's another thing with dark matter. It's kind of like trying to look at the Big Bang, in my opinion. You have to take the effects and work backwards. It's like solving for X. So we have all the after we find all the other variables, we have to solve for X, which would be dark matter, to figure out what it is. That's probably how it's going to be found.
Well, as far as I can tell, and realization, with the realization of it, I could see another 100 years before it's figured out.
But it's just
for you. Here's the thing: for you, you're lucky because you're in the generation. You'll have the opportunity to go to space. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll be mainstream for myself, but you're at the age.
2050 in 2050, it's going to be it's going to be like flying on an airplane.
Yeah, well, 2050, I won't be taking that ride. Yeah. So I when I look at it, yeah, I'll be in my 80s.
I'll be like 35. I'll be in my 30s.
Yeah, here's the thing. So here's the thing, like black holes this black hole was the result of a direct observation. I mean, there's obviously other ways of finding things. For example,
that's a really good point there, because before we made this observation, we solved for X to find out what a black hole was. And then this observation confirmed what X was.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, those kind of mathematics can be useful to find out other things too. I mean, back in the late 1800s, that's how they found Neptune, was using those mathematics, because they found, just like, a black hole, they viewed Uranus and they said, okay, there's something happening there that we can't explain. Then they did some math and realized, oh crap, there should be another planet right here. So then once they did some more math and realized, oh wait, there is another planet right there, and it was Neptune. So direct observation is not the only thing that we can use to figure out stuff. Now, obviously, it is the best way to do it, but
it's the best way to confirm it. Because we can understand that that's there, and we can even develop an understanding of its properties and how it works, and based on its effects.
I'll be right back, guys. Keep going.
But then its confirmation comes with an observation, but all its properties, everything that's happening with it, only requires solving for X.
Right. Exactly.
And that's how most of astronomy has been done. It's been solving for X. We've always predicted what we would see before we've seen it. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple cases where we've seen it, then predicted it, then figured out that it does work, but most of it's been predicting it, saying, hey, this should be here, like blue shift, red shift. We've said, hey, this should happen. And then we've observed it. Same with background microwave radiation, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into the background radiation. The blue shift, red shift, I read up on a little bit, but and there's more to it than that. But yes, essentially you're correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I have zero understanding of that, let's go back to Earth. gonna be fun. Okay, so I know you guys heard me earlier in the rant talking about Bro Sanchez, and I know a lot of people in the chat were saying, "Hey, it's not worth it," but it kind of is. Here's why: because he has 80,000 viewers or subscribers that listen to some of the shit he's saying. And the reason I want to put it out there that he's so ridiculously wrong that it's embarrassing for him is because I know a lot of those people. For instance, if Seek and Find here will say that he believes that the sun and the moon in the sky during the day shouldn't work on the globe, would be someone I would assume listen to him. That's why I want to keep talking about it. Here's the thing, and anybody can do this. And if you're not willing to do this, I'd rather you just admit that you're not looking for truth. Get a tennis ball or a golf ball. Go outside during the day and hold the ball up. Depending on your perspective and where you're standing, you're going to see the exact same thing that the moon phases are showing. And the reason for this is because of your perspective to the moon. Again, the sun, except for eclipses,
I was about to walk outside and do that, but it's raining.
Yeah, is always a full moon somewhere, guys, but not for you. Why? Because the sun and the moon are not in front of you.
Wait, can you explain the experiment again?
So basically,
does it have to be a clear day?
You would need to be able to see the sun. You need the main thing to see.
So yeah, I can't do it today.
Because when you look up at the sun, or at the moon, during the day, and for instance, in the upload that I'm talking about with Bro Sanchez, it was around sunset. It was about an hour till sunset, and the moon was about his 12 o'clock, which is the issue I have with it. About 90 degrees to his perspective. And him questioning why it doesn't appear to be a full moon, again, I said this earlier, because the moon would have to be 180 degrees from the sun for him to observe a full moon, which is what a full moon is. And that debunks Bro Sanchez alone. The other reason I brought it up was because he used that observation as a debunking. Again, you're not going to see.
Let's be honest, Sean. They use every observation they do as a debunking.
But see, here's the problem. When someone makes a claim and talks to a group of people as to be correct, yet he is so insanely wrong that it's embarrassing, then this is the same argument that other people are having with flat earthers because they heard that. You guys got to remember, it's not a argument in your reality. It's an argument in their reality that we're arguing. Because if it didn't matter, or if it didn't make a difference, and you knew and this is anybody, you knew you were correct, you wouldn't be here. Does that make sense? All right.
Not really.
Okay, so that's good. So actually this is a perfect instance. So when I said, I was making the observation or explaining the observation and where the moon and the sun would need to be to see a full moon compared to where, say, Bro Sanchez observation was taken from, you may know he's wrong, and it's obvious how wrong he is, but there are others who don't realize that. And as simple as a lot of things sound or are useless in a lot of cases, it seems, I always believe someone's listening. So we could have 100 flat earthers here and all of them calling me a liar. But I believe one of them's listening. I believe somebody's listening that's getting it. Whether it's a glober or a flat earther, you guys got to remember the information isn't known by all. And someone's listening. That's how I always put it that way. So just keep that in mind when we're giving the explanations. And I know, Sasha, you get frustrated because I, especially myself, repeats over and over again these things. But it's how I learned it. And it's kind of the only way I know how to explain things too.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, I can explain special relativity and black holes, but that's just because I've researched them. I can't tell you how the moon should act based on the sun or how it should look, because I haven't looked into that. I have no clue.
Wait, one second, guys.
So yeah, some things, they might be blatantly obvious, but I'm sure there's a lot of things I've looked at that I've been like, maybe is that the case? Is this a trusty source? Maybe this is, and then I've gone and told all my friends, and then later I found out, hey, that was completely wrong.
Yeah, let me go ahead. I'm trying to pull up the little upload I had, but I know it's going to be difficult for you guys to see it, so let me go ahead and find it. Hang on, give me a second, guys.
Okay.
Because I'm coming to the end of my time, but I no matter what I wanted to, actually, I can do this before I end it. That's what I'll do. That's what I do, guys. I'm actually going to go ahead and end the fun part because I got to get through this. I want to get through these three little clips real quick, and then I got to take off. But I'm going to try my ass off to go live again because realistically, what I wanted to do is these clips and then get a good panel going. But I didn't realize it's already almost been 2 hours, so it's kind of where I kind of set myself to my goal and limit. Yeah, but hang tight with me, guys, because I do want you guys to see this. Seek and find if you're out there. Oh, I didn't even see them out there. Damn. If you guys want to jump on and save this, let me know, because Mind of God and Seek and Find are here, and I'm willing to bet they both are on the same side of Bro Sanchez on this. Let's see if they'll come on real quick. But if not, I want to go through this Bro Sanchez stuff. And then, again, any flat earther in the chat, I'm going to go through these clips about the sun and the moon and explain it. If you can debunk what I'm going to say with actual facts, please do. I know you're not going to be able to, but please do. Let me see here, because I have them already set up. Yeah, so I'm going to wait until I can do it on my OBS, because I have everything set up on my OBS. And if I do it this way, I have to actually go through the Hangout so everyone can see it, and it will throw off my OBS. So hang on. We'll get to that in a second. Wait a minute. The Mind of God. When have you ever been censored here?
Apparently, there's been people saying that they can't type the word globe or something. That auto-deletes it. But I don't know what kind of...
I can tell you right now. I'll go to my settings right now. Because, yeah, I do. I have listed net words. I don't know why the hell I would put globe. I have words that are pretty much just unnecessary. I don't have... Why would I put globe?
There were people saying that they couldn't type that a while ago, and that was a long time ago. But I don't know.
I just don't know where he would get that he's being censored. I think that's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion.
Part of it might have been settings that came over from when you were a flat earther. But
no, because I just changed everything before. Yeah, see, I don't have globe should work. I have the N word, I have the F word, and I have the bundle of sticks word. Yeah, that's about it. That's you guys should be able to definitely type globe. But yeah, my God, I don't know why you would say you're censored.
They're saying Jose censored him, or
well, this isn't Jose's platform.
maybe he's talking about on
about politics
Jose's
and
stream
financial.
or something.
Yeah, you can, man. Open topic, man. You can talk about anything you fucking want.
Maybe they're talking about it on a different stream where they're censored.
Yeah. I think he's talking about when they were over there. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, my God, I don't. I mean, I've never censored you here. I may have, I talk a lot, but I don't have time to censor people. What's up, Trouble About? Trent says, my God.
I've seen a lot of people disappointed with Jose's stream.
Okay. Yeah. They're talking about Jose's stream from I think a couple of days ago. But that's.
I mean, I've seen Sean Hawkins complain about it. I've seen a lot of flat earthers not like his style. So I don't know. You're doing something right, Sean. Nobody's complaining about you.
I hope not. Yeah. If you want to talk about Trump, I'm down. I don't care. I'll talk about anything. I won't talk about concave. Earth is not concave. I don't give a fuck. I hate concavers. I don't even know why. There's no real reason. It's not even okay. It's just I don't.
What the heck is concavers?
I think it's just people, because the whole flat Earth thing. No, the whole flat Earth thing. It was people.
No. This actually came before.
They wanted impunity.
So imagine the Earth. Imagine the Earth inside out.
Internet troll.
So
it's got to be an internet troll. Started by internet troll.
No, it's not. You're young and
no. There might have been real people that took it.
No. This is real. Matter of fact, concave. If you want the realization of it, concave has more evidence or more. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Validation than flat Earth. You do understand that concave actually does have a model.
Well, it was probably. I doubt it was started by a person serious about it. It was probably started by an internet troll, but then continued by people who are serious about it.
Here's the thing, young guy. You got to understand, the internet is not been around very long. It's been around your life, but not very long. And concave, flat Earth, this stuff has been around before the internet. It's not a troll. It's just people, really have these theories and really thought they were these ways for a very long time before a lot of technology, actually.
What kind of observation shows concave Earth?
I don't know. I'm not a concaver. That's not true, Trouble About. The problem is that the space the observations for space don't work. How you doing, sir?
Sean G, what's up, bro?
You keep coming with these crazy, these different names, man. Confuse me. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good. And I promise you, man, you will not get censored here.
Is this a safe place?
This is a safe place. It's not.
Yeah, mind to God. What I was saying was, because I mean, if Sean's cool with it, I'm cool with it. I don't mind talking about whatever. I'm just saying, like, if somebody is saying, hey, this is my platform and this is what I want to stick to, then I say we respect that. And that's why I was saying, if Sean wasn't, if Sean was saying, hey, I really want to stick to these topics, but you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Again, me personally, I'm good with talking about whatever. That's what I meant.
Yeah, like, so if we were in a deep conversation with Chris or Seek and Find, and then Mind of God jumped on and was like, Trump, I'd be like, hey man, relax for a second. Let's get through this. We can do that, but let's finish this. But I mean, topic wise, I mean, obviously right now it's kind of slow. So I can give a shit. That's what the topic is now.
But guys, you guys agree, and this again, that Truman Show, you know, like where he's like living in a movie or a simulation. That's my life, because I don't understand what's going on in the world when we're debating topics like the shape of the earth, which have immediate and direct implications on literally every aspect of our entire life. And this is not a shot to you, but my point with Jose, and I think if he continues along this path, it's going to hurt his channel. And it's not just for me, it's just the fact that this debate, everything's on the table. I mean, literally everything: spirituality, politics, religion, what we eat, the air we breathe, everything. Like, there is absolutely nothing that can be censored in this conversation. Nothing. It affects everything.
I don't
think it doesn't really affect day-to-day life, the shape of the earth, but if the earth were suddenly to be proved by like the government to be flat, then yeah, that would affect a lot of things. But in just day-to-day life, the shape of the earth doesn't really.
Here's the day-to-day part, Sasha, and this is being fair. You know, let's just say it is a ball. And now I presented, and me and lots of other people now are talking about the Bible being a flat earth book. It means that the evil people are actually the Christians. You know, they may not be doing it actively. Like, I feel a lot of ball earthers are not actively deceiving because many of them don't know. You know, like let's just say it is flat. So it does happen day to day. It has
Christianity was developed before a lot of the Christianity and science used to be the same thing. They used to be the ones doing the science. So you can't really say that they're trying to deceive you, because there's a lot of like church that's, you ask any priest and they'll tell you the earth is round. I mean,
yeah, because they don't know. That's my whole point. A lot of them don't know. But we know.
But it's a lot of it's interpretation. You can interpret things differently.
Yeah, wouldn't they have a better interpretation of the Bible than you would?
No, sir.
Why?
Only the elect, God's 144,000, whoever those individuals are, and no one knows who they are. They are the ones who have the closest truth. We who feel we're God's children are the next in line. But then
how do you know? How do you know? But only these select few priests.
That's what the Bible says.
But if it was that clear, shouldn't everyone?
What about the Pope?
The Pope, I guarantee you, with every penny that I have, is absolutely not a part of the 144,000. Absolutely not. With the people we know who are John the Baptist, Apostle Paul, the disciples, the King David, all these kind of individuals, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
So, yeah.
That's it. It's not the Pope. The Pope doesn't even realize that Jesus is a black man. 98% of the world does not even acknowledge that Jesus is actually a so-called Negro. He's a black man.
I wouldn't. That's not the description of it. Bronze skin does not mean Negro.
No, there's other places. It's not just that.
No, but the descriptions of it does not mean Negro, because that's like saying a Jamaican is African American.
No, there's other prophecies. It's not strictly just the bronze skin part. There's other prophecies that reaffirm what he would look like and who his people are.
Okay, well that kind of it was, but I wouldn't go so far as to say that they are the liars if Earth was a globe, because there's different interpretations of it, and Christianity was developed before science had an explanation for what it actually was. So.
Okay, so actually, fair enough. I'll take the foot off the gas on that point. But my whole broad point, maybe I won't go to the extreme that Christianity is a lie, but let's just say it is flat. And a lot of us believe strongly, like, I don't know if people necessarily, I think Jose gets it, and I'm sure Sean does when you guys do, but people believe it. Like, we actually, like, in many ways know it. And so for us to dialogue with anybody for a deception that grand and that long standing and that broad reaching, there is no topic that is off limits. And my only thing that was kind of odd about that reason I got kicked off, like talking about Trump relative to all the other things that have come up in a good way on his show, like hoax shootings and, all the deception, education system. He even allowed financial stuff in the past. So I just thought it was really odd, like such a minor point that I was making, and again, like, it's bad.
Are you talking about getting kicked off of Jose's stream?
Yeah, just strictly for saying that our elections are rigged, which to me it's like that's not really a major sort of like I don't know.
Well, yeah, well that's a touchy point because there's a lot of interpretations of the word rigged, and rigged could mean influenced, but not like votes changed, but votes influenced before they were cast. There's a lot of meanings to rigged, and it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people because it could mean that their party is good, or it could mean that their party is the worst party ever. It could mean that it could mean it has a lot of different implications for a lot of people.
All I'm saying is from our perspective, or at least from my perspective, in the very least, when that happens, I don't walk away sort of licking my wounds. I walk away reassured that my point is correct because I know that would not happen. Like if I really, really believed a certain thing and somebody came on talking about certain things and I like censored them, that's a weak point. That's a weakness. Like, and I don't understand why that happens. Like,
part of it might be they in their eyes, they don't view that as a topic that correlates with flat Earth that they believe should be talked about. They don't want, and also some of those topics get escalated super quickly.
Yeah.
So part of it might be that they just want to keep it calm. They don't want to escalate stuff. So part of it might not be just that they're trying to avoid. It might not be that they know that you're right and they want to censor you so that you don't prove them wrong or something. Yeah. A lot of it's just they want to keep things calm. They don't like they don't like talking about that topics. It's a sensitive issue.
No, I think your explanation is sober. That's fair. But all I'm telling you, and I'm not here to cry, but like the context of that debate was like I was being called whatever a Poe is, which again, psychologically, this is what people who are telling lies would say is like, mind of God's a Poe. So I'm like, okay, if someone's going to call me somebody who's posing, or acting on behalf of a belief that I don't truly believe, I use my point because I need to examine if that person is being sincere and ask them, prove to me you're not a government shill. And the way I did that was going along, the political route. And I could have used other avenues, but that's to me is like, if a person's going to go to the level of Poe or ad hom, I'm not going to come back with, oh, you're right, I'm a Poe. Like whatever that means.
Yeah, that's one thing I really don't like about the whole flat Earth globe Earth argument is how toxic people are towards each other. There's people calling each other wastes of oxygen, and it's just like, why? They're still human beings. They still contribute to society. They're still, they may disagree on you on this one topic, but day-to-day life, it doesn't really influence how good of a person they are. It doesn't influence how much they do, how they contribute. They're still good people on the inside. And on the outside too. I don't like all the name calling and the.
Smart people don't talk like that. I've been around way, way smarter people than any of the smartest flat earther, ball earther I've met. Way, way smarter. And they don't talk like that. They don't say, oh, you're an idiot. You don't understand science or whatever. We know that is an action of a person who is hiding something. That's it.
Well, they're not necessarily hiding it. Maybe they just, I feel like it's that whole culture that's been built up. It's super negative. It may have been started by one person and escalated, but that doesn't mean everybody's hiding it. It might have been just one person that felt that way, that everybody was truly an idiot. And they just started calling that, and then other people started picking it up, and it just became the norm.
Look at the chat box.
And I would also say,
you flat earthers really contribute though. Like, what does that statement even mean? We're asking good questions, and then the topics on questions we're trying to go into other topics. We're not allowed to talk about them. So,
that's a lot of that's
your cause.
Well, so you're talking about Jose's stream. He doesn't want to talk about other topics, but I understand that in a way because that's his stream, that's his topic. That's why he creates a stream to talk about that topic. But yeah, there's a place but for these issues, but Jose's stream might not be the right place. I don't, and calling them not smart is going a little extreme, but
no, it's not.
Saying that they're hiding something. That's a little extreme because there's been a culture built up where that's how people interact. So a lot of it's just just that's how they talk now. But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily hiding something. That just means they don't. I don't know how best to describe this.
No, I get what you're. All I'm saying, all I can speak of is my vantage point is that this sort of vibration, this sort of way that this debate is happening is in and of itself for me actually a flat Earth proof, because fundamentally there would be no resistance to this if indeed the Earth was a ball spinning the way it said, because it would be discovered eventually. You know, that's why I know for sure that the Earth isn't.
Well, human nature
mind
is
God,
to explain.
on that point, hold on, Sasha, 1 second. On that point, mind of God, see, we're at a level to where we're ordinary people just talking about this.
Well, no, that's the part I disagree with.
Governments like NASA and them, they don't care. They don't care about what our debate about whether the Earth is flat or not. They're doing their thing, whether we discuss it or not.
Well, if you're ordinary people just discussing this, why would people get all sensitive about me asking about political views? This is
that's something a normal person does. A government.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
they're very touchy topics. Politics is super touchy.
No, I didn't ask them to go to politics. I asked them to say one thing against the government, and then they chose politics. So it was their decision to talk about Trump not being suitable for leadership. And I'm like, okay, you decided to bring that up, so let's go down that trail. And then normal people don't say that and then censor me.
Well,
that's not what normal people do. Not at all. Not the normal people I've been around in my life.
Well, mind God, I was on that stream, and to be fair, from my point of view, we were talking about one thing, and then you mentioned, well, you believe that because you're a government shill, so say something negative about it, and it was going to go off to a whole big tangent.
They accused me of being a Poe, and then so I challenged them and said, prove you're not a government shill. And so I had to say one thing negative about the government, which is obviously satanic. It's mainstream news. It's obvious. Should be 500 or 600 things people can list off. And they coughed up the Trump thing. So for you to say, start your sentence by to be fair, proves again there's something else going on here.
Well, no,
No, it doesn't.
Well, we can agree that people are the nature of this debate. There's the culture has been built up to the point where it's just back and forth. Nobody's getting anywhere, and we're just yelling at each other. But to say that proves the flat Earth is flawed, because if NASA was to start getting into this debate and calling everybody dumb, then we have a problem, and then your point has merit.
Wait. And I kind of, because I got back. Are you arguing that it's not okay that the mind of God makes statements like?
No. We're saying, so he's bringing up that. So we're talking about his censorship on Jose's stream, and he's saying that proves the flat Earth. But I'm saying it's more just the culture that's been built up around the topic.
It's Jose's platform. That's basically. I mean, really, that's all it really is.
And politics is a touchy subject. He says normal people don't censor politics, but let's be honest, most
I would say politics.
Most people don't want to talk about politics.
I say people want to talk about politics. If anything, I would say that religion is more off-putting to a lot of people. To me, I don't mind talking about it. I'm not going to try to convince. For instance, I wouldn't try to convince mind of God there isn't a God, because that's not my place. But I mean, we can have a conversation about it. I personally think politics should be.
But Sean, don't you find that odd that
everywhere.
they had strong views about Trump being a bad person, but they didn't want to go down a little bit further down that road when they brought it up? Doesn't that seem a little bit weird?
No, it doesn't seem odd, because they were just answering a question so that they could move on to the topic that they were talking about.
Yeah,
so they're allowed to say something about
I'm
not allowed to go. And I've been extremely transparent about my background, why I'm in this. Everything about my credentials is on my website, on my channel. And then we have these nameless, faceless people who are now accusing me of being a Poe and attacking my credibility. And I just kind of...
Well, we'll just say, yes, I agree that people attacking each other's credibility, that's wrong. People shouldn't do that. But that's how the culture's been.
A baller made a sock LinkedIn account and sent me a message on LinkedIn accusing me of not being myself. These are flat Earth proofs.
If anything, no. Stop. Hang on. Someone calling you a Poe is not proof. Someone not wanting to talk about politics is not proof.
No, someone not allowing me to then address whether they're a government shill is a proof.
No, it's not. What would be
why wouldn't they just? Why would they be transparent? Normal people are transparent, right? Like, if someone asks me, like,
that's not true.
Where do you live roughly? Like, I'm not trying to like get to you, but like, who are you as a person? Where did you go to school? Do you have a job?
There's a lot of people that won't tell you that.
Hang on. The reality of it is this is the internet, and a lot of people don't want to be all out there like that.
No, that's fine. So why would you accuse somebody to be a Poe? Why not leave it just to a technical discussion?
I agree. I don't think it proves anything, but I don't agree with that method.
It shows they're in a weak position if they're not using the same.
No, because that's just the way
with other people.
I agree. Anytime someone takes it to a negative area, calling someone a Poe, calling someone stupid, calling them more, all those are negative. Those are weak.
No, I'm open to it. I like the criticism. I just, when I give it back to them, why is there not the same sort of transparency? That's my issue. I have no issue with the whole comment because like I said, I'm very transparent about myself, who I am. You know, it's
other people don't like to be that.
Yeah, but see, I get where he's coming from. I get where Mind of God is coming from because I'm very transparent as well. I put myself out there and I don't mind doing it.
This is not a shot to you or anybody on this channel. I don't want it to take it. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you broadly the people that you're, and I have to take a little bit of the hit for the people I associate with in Flat Earth, whether I like it or not. But, and you know, some of them, I think maybe their heart's not in the right place either. But broadly speaking, the vibration, this notion of like everybody's a Poe, especially the non sequitur, goes way overboard on that. And then
that's just to me, that's that group of assholes. And I'll say, I've been saying to the rooftops, that group of people that believe there's this way of getting through Flat Earthers by being just complete assholes and negative and disrespectful. I think that's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, so yes, I agree. The culture needs to be completely changed. But it I don't think it's a specific person. It's just the whole culture. Everybody wants to. They don't have another way of. They don't feel like they have another way of getting across. They just want to. They just so like Team Skeptic, for example.
Mm-hmm.
No, because that's actually a
bad example. He explains it. He explains it.
That is his persona. He will tell you up and down when he's doing that stupid ding bell shit. That is Team Skeptic. That is a
science or satire? Are you kidding me? Like, what if this isn't just to these guys?
Listen, because when he is not doing that upload thing, he's not like that at all. I know because when I was a Flat Earther, I had many conversations with him, and I very openly said it, even when I was on his live streams or came back to my live streams and talked about him. On his uploads, he's a fucking asshole. But when it comes down to one-on-one, having a conversation, he's not like that at all.
Yeah, he's pandering to his audience. It's fine. But Sean, here, I got a second.
He admits that, so that's not not a negative.
And there's also flat earthers like that, like Daniel Pratt. He'll just call people idiots instead of. So I mean, it's on both sides. It's on both sides as well.
That man is a fucking idiot. And mind God, you have to agree with me. That man has lost his fucking.
I don't even know who he is. I don't follow a lot of this flat.
I don't care what he believes. That dude is kooky in his brain.
But Sean, here I got a second technical difference that I think is good for us to keep building this list so we don't get into this ad hom too much. So first one we covered it back in the day. You guys believe a spirit level can only stay level on a sphere. Fair enough. We believe on a straight line. Next thing that I'm now just
don't say only. Don't say only.
What do you mean?
You said a spirit level can only work on a sphere. And it's not true.
On an oblate spheroid.
Well, we can
like a level that uses instruction.
Here's a better way to say it. It has to be perpendicular to the gravity forces. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it. And so if we, in our reality, let's say that we believe the Earth is flat, it's relative quote unquote perpendicular to our surface, which is a flat surface.
Well, yeah, that would be a whole different understanding of gravity, but
yeah,
sorry, I'm not going to bring that up. Let's not bring that up right now.
Yeah, but just for the sake of argument, it's like it would be perpendicular to like down, you know,
to the
like
point. Yeah, the point of attraction. Yeah, the point of attraction.
Yeah, parallel to the ground in our view. But so now the next thing, which looks like has kind of arisen, and to me is a very, very provable technical difference, is this notion of an item being able to be blocked or obstructed bottom up on a flat surface, which I didn't realize that you guys take the strong stance, or at least Rumpus. Sorry, I don't want to paintbrush combine or put everybody in the same group, but according to him, and I don't know why he takes such a strong stance on this, that according to them, that an item moving along a straight surface, flat surface, can never be disappeared or obstruct bottom up. Do you guys agree with that from like a scientific physics perspective?
There's a lot of things.
Yes.
I don't quite understand that, because I see the hallway thing where things should disappear.
True.
Well, no, I see the hallway thing where things should disappear from the bottom up, but then that only makes sense when the camera's placed on the ground. So, in my opinion, if the camera's above the object, then the object shouldn't disappear from the bottom up.
Yeah, I mean, no one would argue
disappear
that.
from the top down.
Yeah, agreed. But they would make the strong statement that no matter what, in any situation, the rate of disappearance of the top and bottom is the same. That's the stance from the physics, according to them. That to me is
there's a lot of variables to that.
Yeah, but no, I'm just telling, and again, you guys can debate this, and I've got them to say it many times. That is their stance, that above fairly, like you can't have a camera pointing upwards, in any kind of unfair scenario. As long as the camera is like above, truly above the surface, their theory, and it makes sense why you guys would have to sort of take this stance, that the top point and the bottom point, since they're, geometrically about the same distance away, they have to be sort of equally viewable or disappear at the same rate.
So is this if like a camera is placed on a tripod that's half of the ship's height?
No, just any point above the surface on a flat surface. Just basically their understanding of the optics is that everything is kind of linear. Like it's just based on the triangle, like a right triangle. And so the top and the bottom, again, approximately same distance from the observer, even though the top is about the hypotenuse, and
I'm better at understanding deep space stuff. But
I'm reiterating, and I don't know if you guys maybe need to digest this, and maybe that this is the stance. And again, so we have this guy, Life is Short, who did a talk on Jaren's channel, who absolutely annihilated that whole concept. But you don't even need all the Bessel functions and stuff. But that to me is a very, very good difference to highlight. So we don't have to keep saying people are dumb. Those are just two understandings. And in my opinion, you don't need that much really money to disprove.
No. That's my opinion. That's always been my opinion, that the culture is completely ridiculous. I have a server that I run, and if somebody calls somebody else or says that they have no intelligence or no merit, that they're not welcome there, because it's a place we can prove things using math, we can prove things using observations, and we can present it to other people, but we're not going to call them.
No, but Sasha, do you agree with that statement with the flat surface? Like, you don't think it's possible to make it disappear bottom? To me, it's obvious, even without the math, it's obvious that's the way it would be, because the bottom of the object is going to start getting obstructed by the surface that it's
it's possible for a thing to disappear bottom up because the bottom's going over the horizon before the top.
Forget about horizon. I'm talking about, like, let's think about a long piece of lumber or a long hallway or something like objectively flat. Mm-hmm. Like, do you actually think that it's impossible for the bottom to disappear?
No, mind of God. Parallel lines don't intersect. That parallel line on your eyesight would have to intersect for that object to disappear from the bottom up.
I mean,
on a flat surface.
What parallel lines are you talking about?
So, for example, the best example I have is railroad tracks. They're made to be perfectly parallel. They appear to intersect at a distance to the vanishing point, but they actually don't. So that's actually how perspective works. Perspective is when something gets further, the whole object gets smaller and smaller. It does not disappear from the bottom up.
In the case of the railroad tracks, the inside of the tracks would be the bottom. And so those would converge together first and so-called disappear from the bottom up first, because the inside of the railroad tracks would disappear before the outside.
But the other thing is, if that were to happen on a flat surface, the whole angular size of the sun would also get smaller at the same time when it doesn't.
Let's talk about let's get to the sun next, because that theory would apply to that. But first, I'm just, again, highlighting a fundamental difference, which to me, it's a very plainly obvious, pardon the pun, that an object will for sure it has to conceptually, intuitively, it will disappear faster from the bottom up, because it has the kind of competition against the ground that the eye is then not able to delineate.
That's like, so with the eye, with the observer's eye, or with like, because there's a lot of different viewpoints. There's cameras are different than eyes are different than.
No, it's true. Let's just say cameras are like a better, more discerning version of the human eye. But look, for now, let's just consider the human eye. Like from what I've heard from Rumpus and Dean and them is that even with the eye or whatever it is, it's just it will never happen. Like just they're strictly saying the distance of the top of the bottom is the same, and that's all that matters. It's purely
proportional. It'll be proportional.
What we're seeing and what it to me is obvious is that the bottom will disappear faster. It has to, because it's just not the ability, like the ability for the eye to distinguish the bottom from the surface, and the top, which is like has height and all that. It's the bottom is definitely
for the ability for us to distinguish. Sure.
No, but all I'm saying, Sasha, they would not go there. They can't. They say no, because then when you look at those images of obstruction from bottom up, it's you would have to then factor in the possibility that it is flat, and then it could be obstruction based on perspective, again, like disappearing faster.
Again, if it was flat.
I don't understand. Well, why would
I just jumped in?
Go ahead.
I just jumped in, but again, if it was flat, the idea that it would disappear bottom up still is fundamentally wrong. It would literally disappear into a speck as a whole.
No, I'm saying, Sean, you can do this. You can go to like a store, like a Home Depot, get a really long flat piece of lumber, take a pole, videotape it, and then just push it, like move it backwards and see it. Like you can watch it happen.
Wait. What does that have to do with?
That's our explanation for like
it's the same as
the bottom.
It's the same as a perspective drawing when you're drawing a long hallway on a flat piece of paper. To draw the depth of the hallway, you just make everything converge to a point.
No, that explains, Sasha, the very end point. That's what everything disappears into. We're not talking about the rate of things going to that point. That's the whole idea of these buildings, which are not in that vanishing point. They're approaching that vanishing point. I agree. If you have a building and you push it back far enough, it would go to that vanishing point. No one's arguing.
I'm confused. What does looking down a piece of lumber have to do with how things disappear in the distance?
That's our understanding of our reality, is that we live on a flat surface. And so if you take an object, let's just say on a smaller scale, it's like a pole, and then you hold it, at one end, and then you start moving it away. And then you start noticing, wow, the bottom does disappear at a faster rate than the top.
Wait. I don't get what you're saying. Hold it.
Okay. Sorry, Sean. Just take imagine a long piece of 2x4, really, really long, and let's assume for now it's perfectly straight. And so let's put any kind of candle on the top, right at the closest end to you, and then put a camera on top, and then film that whole thing, and then just push the candle away from you, and then just record it. And then you'll see that if you go far enough away, and if the candle is tall enough, that you'll see that the bottom actually disappears faster than the top. You'll notice that it's like a real thing, because the bottom of the candle has sort of quote unquote competition with this the wood.
Every observation that I've seen of like that table, grocery store floor, these things have curvature on them. Now it's not. No,
that's the sense that curving knows say. But to me, all I'm saying is you can satisfy yourself with this on a small scale. Again, I'm not saying it means that the Earth is flat, but I'm saying there's a huge flaw, at least in certain Ball Earth apologists' understanding of perspective. And then you could actually prove to yourself with real life, not millions of dollars, just go to Home Depot and a camera, and you can see that, again, the obvious fact that it has to. It makes perfect sense. So it's obvious
let's set up your experiment again. So let's say we have a 10-foot long 2x4.
Okay.
It is flat. We know it doesn't bow, it doesn't curve, it is straight.
Right.
Okay. Now, would this camera be on this 2x4 surface? Like,
sure, yeah,
or
you can
is
do
it going to be an inch or two off the surface?
I mean, just put it on for now, just as a starting point.
Well, can you show me an observation where you look from zero? The reason a 6 foot person's observation of a boat in curvature, or 200 meters above sea level matters, all these things matter. So if you're taking a perspective of zero, it's not going to give you an accurate.
No, but Sean, I'm telling you now what your team believes is that they believe even at zero, even at anything above the surface, they say under no circumstances will the bottom struck first.
That's not true.
No, I'm telling you what your people believe.
Well, I'm telling you, you can't tell me what I believe.
Well, then you don't believe in what they're pushing. Then you would be more on our.
I'm telling you right now.
You would give us some wiggle room and say, you know what? Yeah, if it is a flat surface and your angular resolution is, or you have a low view,
exactly.
It could obstruct
the
bottom.
Angular resolution is exactly why your observation is what you're saying. The problem with that observation is that no one takes an observation with their head at zero.
No, fair enough. No, you're moving ahead. Don't get to the pictures and the images yet. I understand that. I actually appreciate your point. I totally understand that. I'm talking first about the math, the theory. I'm telling you that the bold stance that at least some ballers take, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, which to me is preposterous because it's obviously not true, but that under no circumstances with the camera placed fairly on a flat surface above it, and again, moving something away, it will the top and bottom, as long as the top is in view, the bottom will similarly be in view. That's the stance. It's not true. It's just physically not true.
I've never heard that.
No, but you have to take that stance or else then obstruction can come from a flat surface.
No, see, that's the point. Again, that's where the observational height matters. That's why.
No one argues that. Then when you get more elevation, it gives you more and more visibility, either over a curve or on a flat surface. No one argues that. I'm telling you the sort of more strong stance that the ballers are taking, and in my opinion, it's a very, very weak stance and easily debunkable. And this is where we're getting at. And I don't know why people like Rumpus say stuff like that, because it's obviously disprovable. Like you can easily disprove it. I've done it even in my hallway. Again, people can say, okay, my hallway is not flat. Okay, fair enough. But if I keep doing it in different apartment buildings and then at a Walmart or a Home Depot and I show it, and it's not even, again, like it's a flat earth proof. It just shows that technical underpinning is false.
Okay, mind of God. Let's do this. Going with your experiment with, let's say this piece of lumber is perfectly flat, and let's assume it's 100 foot long, and we take whatever we want to take and we put it from where we're at and we move it back. So you're saying there's a point to where the bottom of that, whatever it is going to be obstructed. So let me ask you this: if that camera were able to zoom in to that object once it's at that point to where it's obstructed, would it still be obstructed?
No, you can get it will improve the ability to discern those two things for sure. No one argues that. Both sides don't argue that. Because we've seen boats go over the horizon and people bring them back into view. No one will debate that.
No, that's not correct, because I've seen those videos that you're talking about, and they are not. They go out to a place to where they could still see them, and then zoom in and say, "Oh yeah, hey, we brought it over the horizon," when they're not actually all the way over the horizon, and then they say that's the case. What I'm saying is, no matter how long this flat surface is, when you move that back, because parallel lines do not intersect at any point, that whatever object or whatever it is will get smaller and smaller as a whole, all at the same time. But if you, no matter, let's say I have great eyesight, I would still be able to see the whole thing, not just the top down.
I don't understand why you keep saying parallel lines don't meet, as if that means anything in this. It doesn't.
It means something because it does. Let me explain this. So if I'm looking straight ahead, if I had enough ability to make my look straight ahead, I'm looking through a perfectly straight line. The board in this this observation would also be an exact straight line. So it would go to show you that moving that back, it would be moving back in a straight line. Since parallel lines don't intersect, you would not see the bottom line obstruct the object. That just wouldn't happen. So I don't understand why you would think that the bottom would be obstructed when you have to assume that parallel lines intersect. Well, by definition, it doesn't do that.
So you're saying that there hasn't been an example of a boat sailing and then it's not visible just with the naked eye, and then somebody then using another camera and then bringing like, you know, it in view. You're saying that's never happened? Like what you were saying, where we're using our eyes first and then a camera then is invoked to improve the ability to see things. You're saying that has never happened?
If a boat goes all the way over the horizon,
what does that mean? When you view something,
well,
in the
whatever the curve is. Now, obviously, we know the horizon is an apparent line where the sky meets the ground.
Yeah, it changes once you have a different viewing device.
So when it goes all the way over to where you cannot see it at all, even with the P whatever 1,900, 1,000, whatever you want to use, no matter what, if it goes far enough, there is a point to where no matter what the strongest telescope or camera you can use, you will not be able to bring that back.
What do you mean? If you with your eyesight, you see something go over this first horizon, which is created by your eyesight and its abilities, and it's different than the new horizon that I'm about to create with a better camera. What are you talking about? That camera will then be able to then see further.
No,
right?
That's the problem.
Yes, but there will be a point to where not even the camera will be able to bring that back.
Yeah, of course, because it's saturated its ability, of course, just like the eye saturated its ability with the first
God. Can you see you can see what I'm sharing right now, right?
No one's arguing that.
You can see
that camera does not create a new horizon.
It has to. It has a better ability to distinguish what's going on.
No, it does not. The horizon is the horizon. I don't care what you're using. That is the horizon.
We just agreed that it's a phantom point, depending on what's going on.
It's not a phantom point. It is a real point.
Well, then, if you believe that, then you don't understand what the world is around you.
Mind of God, you see what I'm sharing right now? See that?
I believe
this guy just thinks that the horizon is a real physical thing.
Yes, it is.
It is a real physical thing. That it's not.
No,
that is a hard line. That is a hard line. It is a real physical thing. The camera doesn't change that.
The horizon is changing constantly. We know this. Like
no, it is not.
The water levels, the ability to see things.
From the same level of the observer, the horizon does not change unless you change the elevation of the observer. The horizon does not change.
But we know that that's not true, so I don't know why.
Wait. How is it not true?
We know that is true.
When have you ever seen the horizon?
We know that is very true.
When have you ever stood on the beach and watched the horizon change?
No, there's plenty. We like. I think it's actually been admitted. Like when you look at a water obstructing the bottom of a building, you're saying that top line of the water is the horizon, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now we know that tides, different times of the day, different atmospherics will change that level, correct? That's been admitted.
That will change the level of the ocean. Yes, it will.
Okay, but you just said that was the horizon.
The top of the that's
okay. So the horizon,
that is the horizon. That is as far as you can see.
Right, and that
yes, mind of God, there are observations. There are observations where there are like 40, 50, or 60 feet of a building obstructed by that water. If for a tide to be that high, it would be a monsoon. It is not perspective.
But if you're stating that the top of that water level is this horizon, we know that varies. That's my point.
How much do you think it varies?
Depending on the intensity of the tides, I guess. I don't know.
So a 3-foot tide, what would be the difference?
But someone just made the stance, and I don't think it's for whatever reason, no reason to make that because it's not true that the horizon is a fixed thing. Like
it is a fixed thing. I'm the one that's making that statement.
Why would you make that statement when they're just admitting right now that it's not?
It's a geometric thing. It cannot be any different.
Here's the reason why. Because
it's an optical phenomenon.
Here's the thing. Mind of God.
Everybody knows that.
People's understanding.
No, everybody doesn't know that.
Yeah, people's understanding of things are different. So if Harry's understanding of it is much better, then he can explain it better. And again, not everyone thinks the same. So someone may assume something
But
different.
no one would argue, like, even on a flat surface, Sean. Like, if you're just using your regular old eyesight and then you see something obstruct from the bottom up, and then no one's going to argue that if you use something more intense or if you add angle or add elevation, you're going to see it. No one would debate that. Everybody knows that.
That's on the globe.
Like, that's not argued.
Mind of God, going back to your observation one more time. Because parallel lines do not intersect, there is at no point, if you're on an exact flat surface,
That statement means nothing. That's nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It means, yes, it does. Just because you deny it doesn't mean it's invalid.
Well, what does it have to do with what we're observing? What are you invoking?
Because you're saying that on a flat surface, if something goes away from you, that it would disappear from the bottom up because of perspective. That is not the way perspective works.
No, but we've seen that though. I've done it in my own hallway. I don't understand. Like, lots of people have done it. You can do it. It's not even an argument, and it's obvious why it happens, because the bottom is competing with the floor, and then the eye just cannot discriminate the two. It's obvious. The top can preserve itself longer than the bottom. The bottom disappears faster in certain cases, depending on what Sean's getting at. Elevation.
I was trying to show you this. So I'm sharing my screen. You see that big red box, the box in the middle? This is what is what you would see on a flat surface with something moving away. It would look exactly like this.
No, that's you. I'm telling you, people are doing, and you can do this yourself.
Look,
it's not
see how that's shrinking as a whole. See how the whole thing is shrinking.
John, I'm telling you, just go to Home Depot and do it.
I'm telling you right now, I've built so many things in cut, measured, observed, so many fucking 2x4s. It's insane.
Dude,
I'm
Sean, this is right now.
I'm telling you right now.
I'm giving you guys the inside scoop. This is stuff that's going to be disproven.
I'm trying to explain to you why you're wrong, but you're just bypassing it.
We're not, though. We've shown that it's not.
You are. Okay, show me.
I mean, I just posted a video on my channel. You can check it out, where my feet disappear first, then my head. Okay. And you can argue, but all a person could say is my apartment floor is curved. Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to believe that, that's fine. So next time, just go to Home Depot and I'll just do it in different places over time. And then eventually it'll just, I don't know. What are you going to say? All those surfaces are curved? Jose's grocery store that he did it, that's curved?
Yes. Matter of fact, ask me. I'll tell you. Look, ask me. I'll tell you. Want to know why? Because that's what I do for a living. I'm a grading contractor. So ask me. Is a grocery store foundation level? No.
But then do it on the surface and just post the video and show us that it doesn't work.
Is your house foundation level? No. Is Harry's? No. Is Fletcher's? No. Is Joe Schmo in the chat? No. Why? Because if you build a level foundation for any building, when it rains, and that the ground gets soggy.
I'm on the 4th floor, dude. It's not foundation. I'm up.
Okay. Well, the foundation you live on is
you're saying
not
it's curved. Now you're saying it's curved in the exact way Earth is.
Did I really say that? Did you hear me say that?
That's what you have to believe, isn't it?
Did you hear me say that?
Okay. No, I didn't.
Okay. Thank you. Because the reason they're not level is because if the ground gets saturated, it rains, etc., etc., etc. The object is not to allow the water to settle on the foundation. It has to be at a percentage of drainage. So every time you go to a grocery store, a Home Depot, your house, it does not matter. It is not level.
That doesn't mean that it's curving in the way that the Earth would cause this kind of thing. You know what I mean?
It's not. But it should.
No, that's what I'm saying. All I'm giving you guys fair warning is that
you're using those to prove you're flat Earth, and they don't.
No, I'm not. No, dude, I did not say flat Earth. All I'm telling you is that this point of you guys claiming that on a flat surface things cannot be obstructed bottom up or disappear bottom first before the top. I'm just telling you that's patently false.
Okay, so you want me to tell you how to find a flat surface?
Yeah, dude, do one and just post a video and show us.
Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. You're going to get a laser, and you're going to measure every foot. And if it's not the same elevation every foot, then it's not level. Okay? It's not flat.
Okay.
The problem with your observation that you gave me with the 2x4 is that you do not make an observation with your head on the ground.
No, it's a beginning point. I'm not, again, it's not a flat earth proof. It's just to disprove.
Okay, but you don't
it's
look.
to disprove a point that you guys claim that is a thing in optics when it's not.
Listen, you don't go to zero for distance.
Sean, I'm telling you, your own theory is saying this. I'm not making up a theory. I'm telling you what your people say. So don't lecture me.
See, here's the thing. I'm telling you what I know, not what they say. I'm telling you exactly how it works.
All I'm telling you then is that some of your people are saying things that are just not true.
Well,
like,
no, it is not. Mighty God, you are unbelievable. No, you are saying that if something were to be obscured from the bottom up, that math is the math of parallel lines is incorrect. That is what you're saying. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Dude, the math of your parallel lines are just a bunch of words, Fletcher. It means nothing. Like, what do you mean by that?
It means nothing to you because it disproves your BS.
Did you listen to Life is Short's presentation? Like, you see the clarity that he's going into and the nonsense you guys keep repeating about parallel lines, which means absolutely nothing. Like, do you understand the detail that he went in? Did you understand any of his presentation? Did you watch his presentation?
I haven't, but I will.
You should. No, you will. And bring your notepad, sir. Talking Bessel functions. He's getting into he's doing his self-accountability. He's doing tests. He's showing, he's doing everything that you guys are not. All you guys say is parallel lines never meet and think that I'm going to be impressed when you're just making your case worse, not allowing me to talk about Trump, all this madness.
Well,
so
I needed something to debunk in my next video. So what's the name?
Yeah, get a flat surface and move something across it and show us that they disappear at the same rate.
I'll be glad to.
Go for it.
I'll be happy to.
Great.
That's the problem because that's the proof that we know there's a curve. You're saying do this, and we've done it 1,000 times. Now we're saying you do it, and you're saying, but what you guys said. No. I've
done it.
No.
You can show me on a different surface. If I do it over 5 surfaces, 10 surfaces, your argument is just going to always be those are curved. I mean, then you're the conspiracy theorist now.
No. The realization is did you check to see if it was flat? That'd be the question. Did you check? How did you check?
That's a fair statement. I would say maybe I don't have the tools. I would just keep doing it over different surfaces. I would use more surfaces just to kind of average out the potential.
The best thing to do would be to do it correctly.
Well, dude, Sean, you understand you bozos are putting sticks in the ground in 2019 to prove the radius, and you're talking to me about precise measurements when you got Dr. Bob who's giving me errors on the radius of the
Dr. Bob.
Okay, you agree he's an idiot then, right?
Did I say that?
To do that?
No,
I'm saying only an idiot would do that. Right?
I don't think he's an idiot at all. But
you're lecturing me on how to take precise measurements, and you're accepting
I am a grade checker. I can tell you exactly how to find out what elevation the ground around you is. I can tell you so precisely. I can tell you within a hundredth of an inch where an elevation is. So yeah, if you want to do an observation where you're trying to use a flat ground and it's not flat, I'm going to be the one who nitpicks the shit out of that. Because that's what I do for a living.
Just post it, and then once you prove it to yourself, I expect you to then get involved with other people's face.
I do it on a regular basis, and that's why when you say stuff like grocery store, houses, hallways, that's how I know they're not level.
But no, you're really going to go to that extreme that you think that those are curved surfaces? Honestly?
Wait. What part?
Like that's your explanation?
No, I said not level.
But I'm saying you would obviously then we're showing obstruction. The only thing you could say is that it's curved,
saying curve like the sphere, and I keep telling you the observations you're making and the places you're named out are not level surfaces.
But how do you have the brilliance to do that from where you're sitting? Like, that's incredible. How do you know that all these surfaces are not? Are you basically saying essentially no flat surfaces?
I will tell you again, because there is no foundation built on planet Earth with any structural integrity that will be level.
Sean, I feel I'm trying to do you a favor because the things you guys are saying now
don't do me a favor
crazy.
Because I'm going to tell you right now.
But it makes you sound like crazy.
The topic we are doing that we're discussing at this very moment is the very topic and the very trust, belief, and sound sleep you get every night based on how your home was built. So do not do not make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, because everybody who's listening right now, your home is built with the fact that a foundation is not level everywhere. Do you understand that?
No, so that's fine. So your view is that, like in a 24-floor high-rise, you believe each floor is curved slightly, I guess? Is that your stand?
The foundation. And I can tell you
No,
right now.
I'm telling you, I'm not
In
on
fact,
the floor.
I'll tell you right now. No. If you go from corner to corner in any apartment, high rise, I don't care what floor, I promise you, it will not be level.
Okay, so you think it's curved then, concentric with earth curve?
I said it will not be level.
So then if it's, let's just go through the different scenarios. If it's curved like earth curve, then okay, that's the obstruction. But let's say it's concave, like then you're almost having more angle to it. So like what would be the explanation for things disappearing bottom up if it was curved kind of upwards?
If your floor is concaved, your house is going to crumble on itself. Get out.
So the only option is that it's curved like concentric with earth curve?
We're talking about a foundation for a surface. We are not talking about the earth. If you want to go into that, then we're going to go into a much.
No, I'm talking about my floor, my apartment floor that I did that test on. I'm saying your view is that it would be curved, I guess, right?
It's not level. I'm going to tell you that.
Okay, so where, like, if you have, tell me, or how do we help us help you? How do we find a flat surface that you'll feel comfortable and we show you
this? That's exactly what I wanted you to ask me.
And don't just say shoot lasers. Like, if you actually, I'm going to judge your ability to do this by
you don't need to judge my ability, because my ability is that expertise over 25 years of doing this.
I don't care.
Now,
those are just
here
words.
we go. Now, listen very carefully. Now, I have continuously made sure I said this correctly, because I constantly hear you saying it incorrectly. I have not stated anything about flat. I have said level every time. Now, here's the reason why. Because
no, we need straight. Sorry, I'll clarify. We don't want level flat. We want straight. No, that's it.
Because you're not understanding. Because you can still do that observation on a flat surface, but you do not have a level surface. So there are things that you would actually have to take into account when doing these measurements.
I need to know how to come up with a straight surface.
No. See, again, what is a straight surface?
If you don't know what a straight surface is, man, you're just trolling me.
You mean flat?
I gotta go, man. Take care.
Okay, yeah, fine. That's fine with me. I don't mind if I don't need to go in word semantic games so you can play whatever the game you're playing. You've constantly said, oh, so because it's not flat, it's like the Earth's curvature. And no, I've never said a foundation is shaped like the Earth's curvature. I was merely explaining to you that, yes, every foundation is not level for a reason. So when you go to a grocery store and you see a hump, that is not flat. So you cannot do a flat experiment or a flat observation on it, nor is it level from end to end for a reason. Same like a football field. Now, you want to go to maybe like a basketball court, stay within the boundary lines. If you want to actually learn how to measure elevation on a flat surface rather than level, you can do that. I tell you right now, I could put a table at 45 degrees and still show you an observation of a flat surface. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about. You're taking 6 things, the mind of God, and combining it to confuse me, but it's not going to confuse me because that's actually my profession.
There's absolutely not one single principle of geometry, engineering, any other science you can think of that would allow the bottom of an object not to be seen on a flat surface.
Doesn't even make sense.
More quickly than you can't see the top of it. That's impossible. It is absolutely. It is geometrically impossible.
Yeah, literally everything.
Oh, I mean,
everything that guy's saying is just flat bullshit.
It gets frustrating. And he did this the last time he was on, but I thought it was hilarious. This time, not so much hilarious, where he takes a conversation and makes that conversation the meaning and the proofs for 7 conversations that prove flat Earth to him. So you say one word, it proved all the ideas in his head correct, and that's not a conversation at all. You're not going to, mind God, I'm sorry, man, but and I like talking to you. The problem I have is that you're not going to tell someone who's been doing this for 25 years, I'm doing it wrong compared to how you've done it with 0 experience. There's the issue.
You're not doing it wrong, Sean. I mean, you know how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the worst part is I know how to do it so well that on a daily basis, and this is how bad it is for me, and it sucks. When I drive around every day, I grade things in my brain. Okay. Like I know how much dirt it will take to take off the side of a road if I see a mound or a berm or stuff like that. I do that on a regular basis. It's not fun. Or it's fun, but it's mind numbing when I really think about it sometimes.
Yeah, well, go down to your local Home Depot and measure the actual elevation of that floor from high point to low point. Mm-hmm. If it's within 3 inches, I'll kiss your ass.
Yeah, it's you got to understand, and I'm saying in
down,
general,
it's all over the place.
Yes.
I mean, that's concrete, for God's sakes, laying on top of dirt, for crying out loud.
And I was going to say, because Jose previously had been talking about the observation he made at the grocery store, and the first thing that came out of my mouth the last time we had this conversation was, "You know that those floors are linoleum, right?"
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody, but 2 months after the linoleum floor has been put down, it starts popping up.
Sean,
even today.
I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. I'm just gonna say I gotta go.
Okay. No worries.
But I appreciate it. Real quick, mind of God, if you're still listening, you're grasping at straws if you think that the bottom was gonna disappear up on a flat surface. You're trying to force that to be true, and it's absolutely not. And that can be proven over and over again. But anyway, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Have a great one. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Fletcher. Anytime, buddy. Yeah. Hey, mind of God, I'd like to issue you a challenge for tomorrow. Let's do this. We'll pick a time. I'll start a live stream. You cam up and I'll cam up. And we'll both do that exact observation on flat surfaces. You can use your flat surface and I'll use my flat surface. And we'll see if your observation holds weight. I mean, I can't imagine anything that would be best prove your case than to do it live. I do it now, but my desk is a mess and I'm not cleaning it up, and I ain't showing you what it looks like right now either. This is ridiculously bad. It's terrible. It's again, I don't mind having these conversations. Actually, I enjoy them because it's what I do. It's actually enjoy it. But if you're not willing to know how to do these observations, then it's semantics. You can't argue with someone if you don't understand how to do it.
Well, that's a fact, Sean. And no is not an argument. I'm sorry. You can't go there. I know he wants it to be true, and I know why he wants it to be true. Unfortunately, it just isn't true.
Yeah, like Fletcher was saying a second ago, once you start reaching for straws, you got to sit back and rewrite the path. You got to rethink your path.
There is no geometric possible way that you can make the bottom of an object disappear on a flat surface. You cannot do that.
Not possible.
It's not possible. It is physically impossible.
I mean, in all the optics information you can look into explains this very clearly.
Of course. Now, if you're Rob Skiba and you want to put a Fresnel lens in front of it, yeah, okay. You can make all kinds of things happen, but not in the real world.
Yeah. The mind of God, so he's in the chat right now. Again, I have a feeling, and this is 100% belief, that I think I know a little bit more than you do. Why? Because I have the patience to explain to you exactly where you're wrong in your situation, and you're not only aren't you listening, but you're doing these weird, this is how I knows. It's like you saying that I don't know what I'm talking about because you don't think I think drones can fly in a straight line. Like, what does that even mean? Like I want to answer it, but I don't want to entertain that, whatever that is you're doing.
Yep.
My God, put your email, or I'll put my email in the chat. Email me so I can have yours, and then I'll email you all the evidence you need to know my credentials are. How about that?
So what else has been happening, Sean?
Man, just been busy working and trying to get a bunch of things done for this, and I finally got to be back on. That was the crazy thing. I was off for a week, so it was kind of like trying to figure out how these pedals work real quick.
Yeah, I finally figured out how to make all my stuff work, and you went away.
But the good thing is that I
was like, damn, I don't have anybody to talk to. I know how to talk now, and I don't have anybody to talk to.
The only good thing about it is that the time that I was away, I actually sat down, thought about how I wanted to structure this, thought about how I wanted the different aspects of this channel I want to do, and I got a really good idea what I got a plan. It's going to be quite entertaining. So you can find. I'm going to do those clips in a second. And here's the thing. So, and I'm kind of excited to talk about this. So, I've decided that instead of that, I don't want to do debates because I get triggered too easily to be debating people. I get, obviously I get too angry, and halfway through my whole argument's gone and flustered. I don't even remember what I was going to say. But doing the flat Earth, I guess, experiments seemed like the best thing to do. Dr. Bob came on and we did that. We did exactly that. Try to prove flat Earth. And I was thinking, that is amazingly great. I mean, for one, flat earthers aren't even doing this. So I feel I'm helping them out. Because again, any observation that I make, I'm going to tell you guys, I don't mind telling you if I was wrong. I've done it 1,000 times. I've been wrong 1,000 times. So I would think you guys would, you guys don't need to trust me, but at least understand that I'm not going to give you some crap. But the one thing I'm really going to push for is that you guys help me. Flat Earth. I mean, it is your flat Earth. Why not help me do it? Meaning, what experiments do you believe will prove flat Earth that we can do? And when I say we, that means myself and whoever is, putting forth these experiments for a flat Earth. I mean, seriously, seek and find. Can you see a reason not to pick an experiment that you believe would show flat Earth, and we go through that one-on-one from observation to finish? Does that make sense? That seems reasonable, seems very non-biased. I would think. Let's really break down your guys' evidence. You guys say you have evidence. You say all these observations show you flat Earth. Well, let's really get into it, because I'm willing to go full steam ahead with this.
Yeah, come up with a legitimate experiment that you think will show that, and let's do it.
Yeah, and it doesn't. And personally, for me, it doesn't need to be fully thought through. You can start it. Let's start at a hypothesis. I mean, right, or an observation, and let's work the whole thing.
Sure. Absolutely. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it and see what happens.
It's bad. So again, I'm going to address this. This is the last time I'm going to address this. The mind of God. Please put some effort into your claims. Because saying you clowns don't even think it's possible for a drone to move in a predictable path, it doesn't look good for you saying it. Like, I think every flat earther in the chat is going, oh God, he said that. Those are bad. That's that bridging shit again, isn't it? He's bridging again. You motherfucker. You got me, mind of God. You fucking got me. That's amazing. You got me again. Damn.
He seems to be having a problem with sticks in the ground.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. Matter of fact, you can stick around. What I wanted to do, I was gonna do it at the beginning, but the people got kind of aggro waiting because I did my little rant thing, so I started the panels. But I have 3 clips. I'm not sure if you know who Bro Sanchez is. But
yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect. He made the claim, or I'm not sure if were you here, or you may have heard it. I'm not sure. I think Dr. Bob was here, but he came on and he made these claims, and he named off 3 different uploads that he had done in the past that proved flat Earth. One of them being, this one being the reason the sun and the moon can be out in the day at the same time, and his whole claim to it is that the observation that he shows us doesn't show a full moon, which disproves the globe model. Okay. So now we got that preface. Okay, let me get to it real quick.
That'll be good.
Yes. I think I'll share it in here. I was gonna try to. I didn't want to share it in here right away, but I'm gonna have to because I don't even know where it is in my OBS anymore. 1 second. Okay, so. Okay, now I'm actually happy you're here because I have a question because I don't feel that this is a correct statement. So I'll go ahead and play it real quick, and then you can. I'll make a statement after that, but I kind of want everyone to hear it first. So let me get this pulled up real quick.
Facebook and YouTube.
Let me. I gotta make it smaller. All right, here we go. Now I can finally share it. Where is it? Oh, that's fine. It's on the back side. Okay, we'll do it this way then. All right. So this is the first clip that I got. Now, he makes a statement about this observation that didn't seem right to me. So I'll go ahead and play it, and then I'll go through it.
Facebook and YouTube. Welcome back, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about lunar eclipses and full moons. We're going to be basically talking about the phenomena of seeing the sun and moon out at the same time. Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. Now, I caught issue with this because he calls the sun and the moon being out during the day as a phenomenon. That's false, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because that was like the big red flag to me. It's the reason it's not a phenomenon is because the globe explains it completely.
It happens every friggin' month.
100%. I mean, like to AT. That's like, matter of fact, the only explanation that works would be on a globe for what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Okay, so and trust me, they're all going to be like this. There's only 2 more, but the next one is another one that I thought was kind of odd that he said. I think this is it. Make sure there's one in here that. That's a picture. I think this is it. We'll find out.
I know many of you see that a lot and you say, how is that possible? Well, I'm going to show you why that's possible and exactly what's going on. The reason we ask these questions is because the theories we've been given from NASA makes no sense on the globe.
Okay. Now, one, NASA didn't give us this. That's not information NASA gave us. Two, the reason that quote unquote theory that the sun and the moon phases is 100% true is because we can all do the observation ourselves, where you get a ball, shine it in the day, put in this relative positioning of where the moon is to yourself in your position, and guess what will happen? You'll have the same phase that you see on the moon on that ball. Or if you would like, the way I did it is I got a flashlight, I got a tennis ball, and I put that tennis ball on, shined it onto shine the light onto the tennis ball, and then I just walked around it. Now understand that quote unquote tennis ball moon it is a full moon relative to the sun. But if I'm standing to its side and it's above me, I'm not directly in between the two. Therefore, how would I see that full moon? Now, the observations that those moon images that you saw that Bro Sanchez showed, those are exactly what I just described. The only way you see a full moon is when the sun and the moon are 180 degrees and you are in the middle. It doesn't work that way if the sun, or the moon, I'm sorry, is above your head, not 180. That makes sense? I mean, it's like he made these claims as if he explained it and it was done and done. If there's anybody in the chat that believes what I just showed you guys is correct, please explain it. Please. I got one more, and I know it's weird. You couldn't possibly imagine I had one more. Now, this one is my favorite.
Okay, because the moon.
Now, and I need Trouble About or Seek and Find any one of you guys to answer this before I show this clip. Here it is. Is light physical? Is it a physical object? Anybody? Okay, I'll answer it for you. No. It is not a physical object. Meaning, if I shine a flashlight on you, it will not knock you over. You will not feel it. And if I'm wrong, Harry, please correct me. But it's not a physical object. Now, that whole observation of the moon illuminating its own light, there are questions that come up with this. One, what is the source that turns it on and off? Two, why doesn't the whole thing shine all the time? Ready? Here's the best one. 3. Do you understand how light works in UC? Because everything has a gradient. It either reflects or it absorbs. Right? So if it reflects or absorbs, it's got to be either one or the other or in between. The sun reflects off, the sun rays reflect off of the moon, and that is what we see. That is why it's dark outside, but there's a little bit of light.
That is true.
Now, it doesn't make sense to me, and I want to make it very clear in the caption that you see on Bro Sanchez's upload. Again, it says, footage shows sun and moon both in the sky with the sun directly across the moon, yet the moon is not full. That's a lie. That's a bull-faced lie, because his observation is not what he's looking at. That sun is setting. The moon is not 180 degrees. And that's debunks the shit out of his explanation for that. If anybody thinks I'm wrong, please tell me, because again, I just showed you very clearly that sun, where it's at, to the moon, he is stating is directly across from the moon, is a lie. It's a lie, bro, Sanchez. It's a bull-faced, narrative-passing lie. This does not disprove the globe. This does not disprove flat Earth. The only thing this thing proves is that bro Sanchez is willing to bullshit a narrative regardless of its effect. Because if he came out and said, I was wrong, that is not how it works, do you think people are going to be happy with him? Nope. You think he's going to get a bunch of super chats? Nope. So, bro Sanchez, I doubt you will. But would you like to admit you were wrong about the sun and the moon? I mean, if you're about truth, you should be more than willing to admit it. But you were so wrong, it's embarrassing. Just in 5 seconds of this last clip, 5 seconds, you debunk yourself. You debunk yourself, and you prove what I said is true. You're pushing a narrative. Get your facts straight, get your shit straight, and quit lying to people I know. And trust me, there's a shit ton coming more. The reason I didn't do it all is because it'd be 2.5 hours worth of this shit. But there's gonna be more coming. Don't worry. I'm gonna go ahead and end it now because I'm tired. Been on for almost 3 hours. Harry, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to actually start messaging you before I go on, because I do like when you're on here, because you're very damn smart. I like that. And and I want you to have the opportunity to discuss things with me.
Well, drop over and visit my channel sometime.
Absolutely. Along also with my brainstorming, I actually want to I got to get a contact with you and Dr. Bob and a couple other people. I have a pretty good idea. I think it's going to be interesting. And I kind of want to run it by you guys too. So I'm definitely, you're going to hear from me probably tomorrow, because I'm tired. I'm done thinking for the night. But I do appreciate it, honestly. Just having gone to kick things off of it, and I've learned a lot from you. So I appreciate it every time you're here. So this is home for you. If you want to present anything, you got something coming up, you are more than welcome to talk about that. I don't care. It's all.
Well, it's a pleasure, Sean. Thanks for letting me come on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this because I'm tired. So let me get this outro out the way. Again, sir, I do appreciate it, and I'll message you tomorrow morning. No hurry on the response, but just know I'll be messaging you tomorrow.
All right, good deal.
All right,
Take care, buddy.
Have a good night.
All
right, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Despite your bridging the mind of God, I enjoy you being on my panel. You keep me on my toes. Chris, I know you're always in and out, but definitely want to get that conversation going on. Guys, I appreciate you guys being here, being in the chat. The help you guys give me in the chat is insanely, I am in debt to you guys. I think it was Charlie who was saying something about the light. Charlie, where is it? Yes, Charlie. I appreciate you, and I'm going to read that up on that so that I can rephrase how I put that light is physical thing. Luckily, he debunked himself enough that not too big of a deal. But yeah, thank you, True Blue. I appreciate that. Hey, what's up? Space is fake. I like that. You're actually not the original. We've already established this, so you are subpar. You have issues, but hey, Space is fake. You want to debate tomorrow? Sean G versus Sean G. I mean, I've kind of heard you go. I mean, as long as you're not sauced up, I'd enjoy the shit out of that debate. I mean, what do you say? I was talking about how you helped me out, Charlie, when I was talking just the little things, with light and all that stuff. So is that a yes or a no? Okay, so tomorrow, I'll message you and we'll figure out a time and then we'll post it. How about that? Cool, perfect. With that said, guys, tomorrow, wait for the information. I'll get probably see a lot of you guys over at the Discord, and I'll let you guys know what's going on. But I'm gonna message Space is Fake, the subpar Sean G, and I think we're gonna get a good debate going for tomorrow.